This episode of the Giant Bombcast is brought to you in part by Squarespace. That's right, turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Whether you're showcasing your work or selling products, whatever you got, Squarespace has your back. They've got beautiful templates as well, and the ability to customize just about anything. You can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. But hey, if you do get stuck, Squarespace has 24/7, that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right, customer support is there, ready to help. Head over to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, where
man.
we are having a bad hair day, I understand.
Yeah, I'm just, it's gotten too long, and I'm just like, I don't want to try and style it, because the way that I normally style it is I just put some goop in it, and I go,
make a little poof.
Yeah, make a little thing poof, and then let it go. But now it's like twice the length that it normally is, so I would look ridiculous. But I just haven't gotten around to getting my hair cut yet.
Can't go out of the house like that.
I'm thinking about growing it out and doing the Brad.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people, I talked to a stylist about this once, who has a cowlick in the front of their head instead of the back. Most people have in the back. The way I was in the womb, whatever, it like, screwed up my hair here.
The lifelong cowlick.
It's up one side and down one side, so if I ever want to do the hair gel stuff, I have to, like, it all goes up.
Huh.
This is way too long for me right now.
All or nothing.
You have a certain unkempt mad scientist vibe about you.
I meant to get a haircut last night. I do it myself.
I was actually about to ask, like, are you still cutting your own hair?
Yeah.
Or okay,
Yeah, it's I don't know, soothing and easy. But I
would never trust myself. I just can't.
Yeah.
The back is really hard.
Yeah.
I have to
totally.
get my girlfriend to do it.
I tried to give my
fiance
a haircut once, and I looked like a shaggy dog afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, it was like long in some parts. It was terrible.
When I was unemployed, I bought those little wall clippers. I still have the same ones. $20 5-6 years ago. They're still holding up. So I've saved so much money on haircuts.
How much was your Flowbee? Do you have a Flowbee?
Not.
Yeah.
You should get one.
I wonder if they still sell those.
They
probably
totally do.
Because
Like,
it's just an attachment for a vacuum cleaner,
sure.
right? Yeah.
I think so. I don't know.
With modern advances in suction, that seems like a Flowbee could be fucking dangerous.
Or awesome.
Yeah.
I never really considered until just now that I do think of you as the Doc Brown of the office. I don't know why.
Wild card. That's me, obviously. Looks, brains.
You're just gonna
Little fast talking, like
run into the room all flustered, yelling about gigawatts.
yeah.
I guess.
That's a Rory.
Well, I think we all had a hard time getting here this morning, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Too. So we all kind of showing up flustered. I had a house guest last night show up at like 10 p.m. that I wasn't expecting, so we had to like get the place ready.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I just crashed.
Traffic is
Have nowhere
terrible
else to
everywhere.
go.
Yeah. It's one of those Tuesday mornings.
Out on the streets.
Family kicked me out.
On a Monday night.
It's been a real mess. It's been a real mess.
Lot going on.
Yeah.
Took me 20 minutes to get like 5 blocks outside the office. They are tearing the entire street apart.
And putting it back together and then tearing it apart again and putting it back together. It seems like it's ongoing kind of.
Great city.
Battery was dead in my iPad this morning. Everything's been bad.
Well, good luck. You can buy a new iPad tomorrow.
No thanks.
Nope.
I bought one last time they did
Okay.
them, so I'm good for the next 7-ish years probably.
Sure. Yeah,
on that thing.
that works.
A friend of mine works for Apple, and he has to deal with a lot of this launch stuff, and he's just incognito for like a month and a half beforehand. He writes.
Oh, really?
Apparently, he writes.
The Apple security police are stalking the halls down there.
I shouldn't say too much about it. Apparently, he writes scripts for people who do phone support stuff. So it's kind of all the new stuff has different new support issues going on with it. So I pouring out for my homie support ticket email kind of stuff. Like it's a hard job.
So you thinking, is that tomorrow for
tomorrow?
Rory? You thinking you in for an iPhone? This time?
Finally, this is the year.
The Google event is in early October. So
and those Pixels leaked, didn't they? Did someone leak one in a cab or something?
Like 6 months ago.
The weird thing is that Google has apparently asked for a bunch of people who made leak videos on YouTube for rights to those to show at the premiere. So now,
Yeah, I mean,
people are now thinking that maybe those leaks were fake, and Google's been playing the long con the entire time. Which would be awesome if true, but whatever. It's a phone. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, right. That's at the end of the day, like, what the fuck are you putting in your phone that's going to be that revolutionary? You're like, oh my god, this got out. It's got a slightly better screen. We're fucked.
Camera's good.
We can't believe that. It's like anyone that's like a competitor trying to make similar devices has people at the plants with the parts and whatever. Samsung's probably supplying most of the screens anyway. They know what the fuck's going in those phones.
I mean, there are renders of all the new iOS devices out there based on like CAD files that people got their hands on.
It's always the case suppliers who always wind up leaking the dimensions and everything. It's always the cases.
And then it's like it's parts and it's just like, oh, we have the logic board for the new phones, or hey, firmware beta lists these 9 devices, so we think it's going to be this, this, and this, and these colors. And
it's really fast and it's really good. That's all.
All right. Was it
again? I'm on the cheap phone plan right now.
What do you think? Titans Tube fast.
What do you think about bezels? How do you feel about a bezel?
I don't like bezels.
Okay,
but
well,
like,
you're in luck.
If I got to pay like a significantly more for a no bezel device, I might be out. I don't know.
What is it? Samsung that has the notch?
Oh, everyone's got the notch.
Everyone's got the notch.
Everyone's notching the fuck up.
Oh,
the Pixel 3 notch design has people like livid. Just
it's because Apple had the courage to put a notch in their phone. I like the idea of an OLED screen in a phone, but I don't know. What is this?
My phone screen continues to be the best screen in my house, I think. No, I've got a 4K TV now, so I'm good.
I've got this 8 Plus, and it's fine, but my wife has a 6 that is fucked in a lot of ways.
My girlfriend also has a 6, and every time I watch her use it, I want to die.
It
takes like 5 minutes to launch an app.
So now I'm starting to think, like, should I give her this one and I can get whatever the fucking new thing is? But the reason I got this instead of the fucking other one with the notched up phone was I didn't like the idea of my face being my passport.
The word is the new iPad works that way.
Yeah, the button is pretty good for thumbprint shit, and I don't know. That biometric seems like better. Like hearing people like, oh, I was wearing glasses and didn't unlock my phone, or I did this and that. It's like that sounds like it fucking sucks.
There was a lady in Asia who had an office mate who not related at all.
Right,
her office mate opened up her phone with her face, like, okay,
yeah,
one in a million, they always say.
And like, whatever. I'm not like I keep my phone on me, so the security stuff. Like, if people want to hack into your phone, they'll find a way.
Yeah, or your Tesla now.
Or steal your car.
Yeah, not my car. That's Tesla's looking less attractive by the day.
The future.
The future.
It's here.
It turns out people are still human and still fucking crazy. And
technology will not save us.
Nope. Never was.
In fact, it may do the opposite.
Yeah.
We really
it's
wanted
in the process of doing the opposite pretty well.
Oh, man.
All right. Before we move on to video games, I just want to say that it's never impossible to have a bad hair day with Jan in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Running the boards.
I hide it very well. For a solid week before PAX, I was wearing hats and it was killing me inside.
Yeah. You even rock a stylish hat, though.
Yeah, I try to. But when I went camping a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't do my hair because there were no showers.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just rat it up. And I thought about maybe I should just grow it out. Maybe I should let it go.
You and me have the same tip that no shower is like makes camping less attractive. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I need to.
Well, he just couldn't style his hair. He was cleaning himself, I'm sure, to some degree. Do you not clean yourself on a camping trip? You were just on a camping trip.
I was. And I got really filthy. My feet were the worst.
You could buy wipes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then it makes that shower when you come back that much more satisfying.
Right.
All the grime is off.
Amazing. It's so good.
Shower for 30 minutes. Just scrub and scrub.
I've thought about growing it out. About growing out my hair.
Do you ever feel resentful when you have to do your hair for like 90 minutes or something? Just like go out for one thing for 2 hours and you have to waste all that product?
And then it gets me to justify whether or not it's worth it to go out to begin with.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Like, should I?
Maybe
I don't need to
not
see these
do
people.
this.
Welcome to your 30s.
I wear my Indie Mega Booth hat on the weekends a lot because I'm just like, fuck it.
I got a mixed hat on myself. Yeah. I got to turn it around now.
Independent video games in hat form. Hats better than the games? You decide.
I mean, I remember the hat. So
there you go.
I mean, if you're interested in hats, I've got a game we could talk about.
Yeah?
No, we should.
I'm interested in physical hats.
Okay.
Not the hats.
Okay, I can't help you
there.
Not
e-hats.
What about visors?
Yeah, yes. Let's fucking bring back visor. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Can I wear the visor upside down and perhaps sideways? Is that a look we can bring back? Can we Jamie Kennedy it up in this motherfucker?
Only if you're willing to bounce around a squared circle.
Great. Yeah.
Spelling out worm.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Or if you have a friend that's willing to do it.
I can commit to that one way or the other.
All right, then we can bring it back.
Great. Terrific. All right, I'm on it.
Okay, games. There's a lot. We got Call of Duty Battle Royale stuff.
Yeah,
Spider-Man's
it's September.
out. Destiny expansion's out. Tomb Raider's almost out.
Yeah.
What do we start with? How's that Call of Duty thing?
It's interesting. As the Blackout beta started yesterday, it's for people who pre-ordered, I guess, and people who got codes. We gave out some codes a while back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't dislike it.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
It feels like the developers of Call of Duty sat down sometime last year and really, really watched a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and then said, I think we can do that.
And then they did it?
And then they did it.
Okay.
Like the map, like you look at it, it looks like a PUBG map in a lot of ways. Like in that there's a lot of open areas, which is weird because it's got open areas between clusters of buildings, which obviously is not entirely unique, but it just for Call of Duty
for that series it is quite unique.
And so I don't know. It's interesting. I think they've done some really smart stuff with like inventory management because like it is still like you go out, pick up shit. You start with nothing. It's not like, hey, you're Call of Duty, create a class, whatever. It's you're going out there collecting shit, equipping it, and all that.
Everybody is the same when they drop?
Yeah.
Do they drop?
You drop in a wingsuit.
Okay. There's no airplane?
There are a series of helicopters.
Okay.
And the helicopters travel across a line.
I almost feel like the most efficient way to talk about this is for you to just say what's different about it from PUBG.
Sure, yeah.
Go from there.
Okay, well, here's what's different about it in the beta, and it might be my favorite part of the whole thing. There's a warm-up phase where you land in an area for 30 seconds, and then the game starts. When you spawn into that area, it shows you as up in the air, but you are in the standing animation, and you can kind of run do the running animation and turn in the air before it like spawns the wingsuit and crashes. It's a beta. Okay, let's see. So it's 80 players. So they've gotten a player count way up there.
Yeah.
And it's a beta, so maybe they'll get to 100 by launch. I don't know if they said one way or the other if 80's locked in or not. It's got solos, duos, quads. It is a battle royale game. A wall closes in. A blue,
straight up blue wall.
Straight up wall comes. There's an energy wall closes in on you. There are areas of the map where there are zombies. So there'll be like the asylum, or there's like a handful of areas around the map where you see kind of.
Oh, is it preset areas like the
but
asylum will always have zombies?
I'm not sure if it rotates. If like this area is a zombie area this round or not. I only played 4-ish matches, 4 or 5.
Are those just like super dangerous areas, or is there loot in there?
So I think the idea is that you will sometimes find guns that have every slot filled on them. And my guess would be that maybe you would go to the zombie area and get better shit.
Yeah.
If I were making it, that's how it would be. But I have not found anything tremendous in any of the zombie areas I've been in so far. So I can't say for sure.
Gotcha.
But maybe it's like it's more likely to spawn here or whatever. So healing happens. Like healing items, healing might actually be one of the things that gives me some pause about this mode because you really stack up a lot of healing items. You can heal up to 200 health. You can get up to 150 with bandages, and then there's like trauma kits and whatever that'll get you all the way up to 200.
Is it an instant heal or is it like over time?
It's a channeled, like, so you can move and heal. So it's like an arm stick, which is I think it's the same animation from the regular multiplayer in Black Ops 4. But it's an arm stick that then is a meter that fills while you hold the button down.
Okay.
So you have to kind of get behind something and heal up real quick.
Gotcha.
But like, I finished top 10 every time I played. One time I died super early, actually.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that time. It went bad. And you can spectate the other players once you're out, so you can kind of watch how the matches finish up.
Okay.
And you see matches get down to 2 players, and then it's just like this constant stream of people just healing. Because you can hold like 10 fucking bandages. And then multiple health kits and trauma kits and stuff if you so choose. And so you might get to the end of a game with hell of healing items in a way that makes the final fights seem strange because it is that constant, like, I'm going to back off a little bit and do it. But even a character with 200 health, you can like melt that away in like 4 or 5 shots. It's Call of Duty time to kill, roughly.
I am second guessing myself here, but when was the last time they represented your health in those games? Hasn't it just been like
this year's the first time in a long time?
Strawberry jam around the screen was the only indication.
So they did health packs in the campaign last year,
right?
And then this year is the year where they're bringing health to multiplayer.
Okay.
So you have and it's a manual heal. It's a button to heal.
Wait, is that across the board in multiplayer?
In competitive multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
So you want to pick up an item, it's on a cooldown or something like that. And then there's a perk for faster healing, basically. But it's like a heal over time in the competitive multiplayer. In this, it's like the meter fills and you kind of and get up pretty quickly.
So perks, none of that stuff comes into this mode?
So perks, no. But there are packages you will find in the field that are like perk-like. So you'll find something that's like
you find a magazine.
No, you find
it's
a little briefcase looking thing, and it'll say like paranoia is one of the names of the kind of like classes or whatever. And so that's an item you collect, and then you equip it, and then for some amount of time, it's like 240 seconds, or it might be different from class to class. You will have additional abilities. So for paranoia, you will hear a tone when someone is aiming down sights at you.
Oh, wow. That's kind of a cool
and so
idea.
there's stuff that like, oh, you move faster when crouched for 240 seconds, or you are a medic, you get more out of health kits when you use them for 240, for whatever length of time.
Do those skills activate the second you pick the thing up?
No, you put it in your inventory and you can sit on them. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
So you could really have a serious advantage when it's down to 2 or 3 people.
Exactly. If you know when to pop that thing and all that sort of stuff, like, yeah, you can kind of stack that shit up. Well, I don't think you can equip multiple kits at the same time. So if you have multiple kits, and I'd have had matches that ended with me having like 5 different like of the loadouts on me, and I'm not sure that you can activate multiple loadouts. And so you'll find typical items. You'll find guns. You'll find ammo. It doesn't seem like there's a weight concept for ammo. It seems like you've got a maximum holding for each type of ammo, and that's not necessarily counted. It's more slot based than weight based. When you get a backpack, it seems like it will just add 4 more slots to your base inventory. So that's more of the heavy health packs, or like a recon car, like some of the stuff that from Call of Duty, like the. Like, hey, I'm going to drive a little remote control car around. Like, you can do that if you find one.
Kind of a sitting duck at that point, right?
Yep.
Find a bathroom, I guess.
Yeah, there are bathrooms that you can hide. And you can stand on a fucking bathtub and
open and close doors.
Open and close doors.
Yeah. Okay.
Jump out of windows and shit.
One of those,
vault, and they made one of those.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, at times it feels like a weird knockoff. At times you look at it and go, like, this feels like some studio sat down and said, like, we're going to make a PUBG, and then they did. Yeah,
I mean, but it shoots like a Call of Duty, and players go down like a Call of Duty.
So players go down mostly like Call of Duty. And it's hard because people will back off and heal and stuff. And maybe that's actually it plays more like a Call of Duty Black Ops 4 because that's the concept they're trying to get into multiplayer in Black Ops 4.
Sure. There's a lot of the streams that I saw. It looked like the exchanges were very Call of Duty like.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yes, it's yeah. And so I only found one sniper rifle. I didn't really get a chance to use it. So I don't know if they're modeling bullet drop. I don't know if they've got a proper ballistics model in this game.
That might be
to me.
I might be into that.
It might also be a deal breaker because if you're not modeling bullet drop and people are getting sniper rifles, it's over.
Yeah, sure. I guess
done.
People are very good with sniper rifles at this point. Sure.
If like that's potentially bad. So I can't say with certainty if they are or not because it seemed like a lot of the encounters happened at a medium, like Call of Duty-esque range.
Yeah,
in my time playing it. There were a couple times I took a few long shots at someone trying to get away, and it did not happen. But it's hard to know if that's like, hey, a ballistics modeling thing, or hey, we're just actually faking it, and the range is this, and you're not even don't even have a chance to hit. But I was definitely like, they were aware that I was shooting at them, even though it was a good long distance with an assault rifle.
Does it have armor?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen level 1 and level 2 armor. And it's just got a slot. So you just walk over, pick it up, and it just equips and that. So that's, I think, and they've got a quick equip button where you push up on the D-pad and it'll pop up a little thing at the bottom of the screen that'll let you kind of quickly, if you want to change out what type of grenade you have equipped or attach an attachment to a gun, like let's say you found an attachment before a gun, you can attach it there. If you are holding a gun and you find an attachment, you can just hold the button down to auto-equip.
Cool.
And so there's a lot of UI and inventory management stuff that they've done here that I think is really well done. for the genre. It's the sort of thing you look at and go like, PUBG should probably, like, console versions of PUBG need something more than what they have.
Perhaps all versions of
PUBG. Sure, maybe, yeah. And I think they've done a really good job at making it easy for you to pick shit up and keep going.
Nice.
And so I think that may be the coolest thing about it, is that sort of stuff. And yeah, I don't know, man. They made one of those. And I guess like it's kind of cool because you look at it and go, it still feels recognizable as a Call of Duty game. You know, the movement, the speed at which you're running, all that sort of stuff. Like, it feels like Call of Duty, but it is definitely a battle royale game too. And it is interesting to see those things merged, but I haven't seen enough. You know, like I would be curious to see what high-level PUBG players think of it, as well as high-level Call of Duty players. Because I like looking at it and looking at things that are like kind of like flags for me of just like, this is something I would like to know. This is something that I think the competitive community will have something to say about, like sniper rifles and the presence of them and like the ballistics and all that sort of stuff. Like, that might be deal breakers for some of those people. I'm not sure. But looking at it and trying to speculate a little bit about it, I'm like, this stuff seems like it could be sketchy for people in those specific situations, in a way that might actually ruin it for the average player. If you've just got like, well, one good person got into this game and now that's it. They are just a better shooter and it's over. They are better with the sniper rifle. They found one and they found a good scope for it. Yeah. And it's easy from there for them. I don't know.
That game's out in less than a month now?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, I know the PC has a pre-order beta on Thursday, and I think open beta for the entire coming weekend. So if you haven't done
it's PS4 right now, and then they're opening it for other platforms.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think all the console ones are pre-order only betas, correct?
You might be right.
Yeah.
I don't actually know.
I know the open beta for PC starts, I think, Friday. So anybody can play it, apparently, I think, if you have Origin. So
no,
not
Battle.net.
Origin. Sorry.
What kind of unlocks are we talking about?
No progression is in it right now,
Really? Okay.
but it does
Have they
show.
talked about that, or?
It's what they show on the screen in terms of character customization is almost non-existent. Like, they've got 4 base models. Like, you don't dress them up at all right now. It's just you pick, I'm this guy, and then there are other screens that show like, I'm Frank Woods, and those are locked. So presumably progression would be for things like, now I can play as Frank Woods, or now I can play as Mason, or now I can play as, or they've got all the multiplayer characters from competitive in there right now unlocked, and you can use them as well. But that's it. It doesn't seem like, hey, I'm going to wear glasses, or hey, I'm going to do this. And if it is going to be that, they're holding it. That's not in the beta.
Right.
So I don't actually know what their plans are there.
I'm always looking to see what everybody's hook is going to be, what their unique hook is going to be.
This hook seems to be this hook seems to be it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, that seems exactly. It's like, hey, you know this series, you're comfortable playing these games. Here is your gateway to this new mode.
And so in this weird way, it feels like and this is how they pitched it initially, was like this greatest hits of Call of Duty, and you see little bits and pieces where you're just like, oh, it's got zombies, that's cute. Oh, it's got the remote control car, that's cute.
Isn't there a grappling hook or something?
That's in the. I don't know if that's in the battle royale mode. One of the character classes in competitive has a grappling hook.
I think I heard something about it.
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't. The loadouts from competitive don't come into Blackout. But it's very possible that you might find a grappling hook. I haven't seen one, but I don't actually know.
Fortnite's adding a grappling hook too.
I think
yes,
I heard
they
that.
are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of the new character for Quake Champions will have a grappling hook as well.
It's the year of the grappling hook.
That's right. It's back.
Like 3-wave CT.
They're adding
plus hook.
Q3 DM17.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. That's the map. They finally were like, hey, right. Why aren't people playing? Right. Yeah.
All I know from the Blackout stuff is that like Twitch went fucking crazy as soon as somebody had over 100,000 viewers on it.
Yeah, everyone wants to see it. They've really held back on showing it. Like I think they just showed the map like last week.
And everybody's saying now the Battlefield 5 made a big mistake not doing that for their beta, because now everybody's talking like.
Well, they still have time. They just pushed the game back.
Sure. Yeah.
And they showed their Firestorm mode in a video before this beta started. So they at least got out there and said, hey, yeah, we're doing something like this too. Firestorm seems more like the opposite, whereas this Firestorm, from the looks of it, and I haven't played it because they have not made that playable. But their attempt at Battle Royale seems more like Battlefield.
Yeah, isn't it squad only?
I thought what they've said is that it's 16 teams of 4.
Yeah. So it tops at what's 64.
Yeah, which is it's a Battlefield server anyway. And the stuff they're saying about it seems more in line with the hooks and the concepts of Battlefield, which in some ways Battle Royale is kind of better suited for that anyway. Like Call of Duty feels more like, hey, we took Call of Duty and hung what we could on it. Yeah. And it feels a little hacky in spots where you're just like, we tricked the engine into doing this.
They keep the performance up with the big spaces. How do they do with blending different maps together? Like
I haven't. So it's not.
I wonder if that just looks like
there's an area called Nuketown Island, and I went there, and it didn't look like fucking Nuketown.
Okay.
Or maybe it's bombed out Nuketown, so it's like a different take on it. But like there hasn't been anything, and maybe this speaks to just what I think of as like iconic Call of Duty maps, or maybe not from the Black Ops series or something. But I've yet to see an area in that game where I looked at it and went like, oh, this is that thing from Black Ops. So
if people aren't familiar, they're apparently tying a lot of old maps together.
That's the idea,
Blackout map,
you would, because every battle royale mode will have like, here's a city, or here's a construction zone, or a construction spot, and so for this, the idea was that they were going to drop in things from other Black Ops maps into some of the parts of this bigger map. I have not noticed anything, and that probably says more about me and the multiplayer maps of Black Ops. Yeah, when I think about memorable Call of Duty maps over the years, I guess it's all Modern Warfare 2.
Rich tapestry of Call of Duty fiction.
Yeah, maybe those are the ones that just stand out to me more. And so the Black Ops stuff is maybe a little lost on me, which is weird because those were great multiplayer games. But I don't know.
Any Snoop Dogg in this?
No, not that I've seen.
Oh wait, no,
he was in
Ice Cube.
No, Ice Cube was in Black Ops.
Black Ops,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Snoop was a voice pack for Ghosts.
Right. So was R. Lee Ermey. I just read last night.
Right. Yes.
He passed away some months ago.
Yeah, you can get in on that.
Yeah. Well, so we'll take a look at this thing.
Yeah.
In video form.
Yeah, it's interesting if nothing else, but it's mostly interesting from a perspective of just like, what's a big budget studio going to do to try to capitalize on this craze? And it's weird to look at it and go like, you kind of made PUBG.
No.
But with your shooting, with your style of stuff.
Very faithfully.
Yeah, and I'll be curious about the just network and latency and that sort of stuff. I know people have been picking apart the beta, and the people's happiness seems to be a little mixed. I think people are into it because, hey, here's a new thing, especially if you haven't played any of these games before and you're just a big Call of Duty fan. Like, this is going to be a pretty dramatic fucking change.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how many other chances there will be for top-down competitors in this space, because I feel like the entry point for bottom up is kind of closed off. Like you had I've already forgotten the names of all the ones we've checked out. There was that sci-fi crisis style one.
Yeah, there was that one.
Islands of Nine, was that called?
Yeah, that was one of them.
I think
there was another sci-fi crisis looking one that I tried at one point.
Like all the $20 to $30 ones trying to come up in early access on Steam, I feel like are not going to get a lot of purchase. But as far as like big franchises, it's Call of Duty, it's Battlefield. Who else could try it? That's kind of it.
You could have a Clancy.
Sure.
Division could have something like that. Wildlands 2 could do something like that.
Sure.
If there ever is a Wildlands 2.
I guarantty it.
They should.
Yeah.
They should make a sequel to Wildlands.
They're still putting out.
You're hard at work on
their year 2 just came or has been coming out, so I have a feeling Wildlands.
Maybe Watch Dogs 3 will have.
Who knows? Yeah. Sure, like more third person, more weird
hacking stuff.
There's no third person in the Call of Duty, I assume, right?
No, it's first.
100 Spider-Men.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. How's your spider? How's your swinging going?
Completed.
What, really?
Ooh, yeah.
Finished it?
Yeah, I beat it.
Wow, what a weekend, huh?
Yeah, seriously. I devoured that thing.
I think you so it came out Thursday night.
You came in
Friday saying you had already gotten all the backpacks.
Got all the backpacks, all the towers right away. I wanted that map open.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to see exactly what they were offering me, and it was a whole shit ton of stuff. And they just kept layering it on, but never too thick. There were still like types of side missions that were opening up all throughout the game.
Yeah.
It kept things super fresh in that way, and that was the smart thing to do in such an open world kind of game.
So you didn't feel like you ran out of stuff by doing all that stuff early?
Yeah, I was actively passing over stuff. It's like, okay, I got a good taste of that. I don't think I need to do all of these like research stations or.
And don't they do stuff like like the street crimes in an area, like when you complete one, it'll say 1 out of 5 or something.
Yeah.
So is it like you just kind of have to do 5
Yeah,
in
you have
each
to do
area?
5
They'll keep spawning.
of that
but-
spawning?
They'll keep spawning, and they'll even keep spawning after you've completed those 5,
Yeah.
of course. But the reason is because you need like 100% completion in a district,
Yeah.
so they need to have an arbitrary number
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
But
Do you stop getting what kind of token is it you get from the crimes? Crime tokens?
Crime tokens.
Do they stop doling out crime tokens after you get the?
It's just the bonuses, like the bonus objectives. If you meet them once in an area, they're met.
I see.
in every
yes.
subsequent,
Oh,
or
you
is it
can-
maybe it's just that type or something?
I think it's that type.
Yeah.
But you can replay areas that you didn't get all the bonus objectives. I like that game an awful lot.
It's real good.
Yeah. I
I've-
wasn't expecting to like it quite this much.
I've had to set it aside for Destiny and Tomb Raider coverage, but I
like that's what I
picked-
kind of did is I set
yeah,
Destiny
but-
aside
but I-
for this. But.
I got to I guess what the trophy refers to as the end of Act 1,
Okay.
the big event.
Yeah, I'm really
Well,
surprised.
things-
by
I mean I've still got a lot of game left to go, but I am shocked at how good the storytelling is in that game. Like
Yeah.
it's really impressive
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it's much grander than I think a very singular focused like Marvel movie
Mm-hmm.
is. There's tons more content. I think. Once you think it's done, there's way more that happens directly afterwards, and it's like, oh shit, like out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the mission names. But yeah, like I'm trying very hard not to spoil anything, of course, because there's a lot that goes on, but it really does go places. It gets really in depth with some of its villains.
Yeah, that's one of the things is like I assume people know who the main villain is at this point just from the marketing,
Maybe.
but I won't say, but
Maybe.
they humanize that villain in some really interesting ways. Like you kind of have to go looking for it. I mean, it's like, a diary that you find or like tape recorders, like collectible side stuff.
Yeah.
But you get
They'll
a
spell
lot more
out,
depth.
like,
there's a lot more depth
baseline
to the bad
stuff,
guy.
But if you start
Then-
researching a little bit more, you'll get a full story.
And then especially when you read that stuff and then you watch the interactions between him and Spider-Man, like there's some real good tension going on there that like it's handled so well.
Totally. And it's not just the villains too. And he's got a lot of good like interpersonal relationships, with May and Mary Jane and such, and some other folk as well.
I really like the back and forth between the detective you interact with,
Yuri?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
She's
the
great.
whole
I like her
spider cop.
Yeah. her just like barely veiled disdain for Spider-Man and his dumb hijinks.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, I ended up putting it on last night while I had something, like listening to something on my PC and put that on and just like I'm going to go get a bunch of backpacks and get a bunch of towers and level up a few times and all that sort of stuff. And it ended up not even touching any of the story stuff.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, during sessions, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to work on side stuff or whatever. Or Griffin watched the entire thing with me, like grinning ear to ear.
I wish the
He
trick
loved
system
it.
was better. I know it's like, it shouldn't, it's a game that you wouldn't even expect to have a trick system at all. And it's cool that it's in there at all. But once
I wish there was a little more to it.
When I finally unlocked that, I was like, oh, this is probably the thing I should get next and maybe get some bonus XP while I'm just going around getting this shit. It's like, oh, you get like fucking 2 points.
Yeah,
for
what's,
this thing. Like, it's
what's
not.
a trick system?
You
When
can
you
do
just
tricks
a-
in the air.
Oh.
But there's
kinda
only
do
I think there's
poses and
only
stuff.
4 tricks to do, right?
Yeah. Which it's crazy to expect a full depth trick system out of this.
Yeah,
but,
sure. Spider-Man has such a rich history
it
of.
seemed like a waste of a skill point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a trophy for it. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll have plenty of skill
And,
points.
yeah. Also, I think you'll be fine for skills.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. I maxed out all the skills by the time I was.
Of course,
at,
yeah.
like,
Did you
endgame,
100% the game?
No,
Not all-
I
not all
don't
the
think I'm
side stuff
going
yet?
to.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of the side stuff that I'm just like
Huh.
fair to Midland. about.
Interesting. Okay, because I look at that stuff and go like, yeah, of course I'll get the platinum in this. It's super fun to play. But
Yeah,
but
I've
maybe,
seen people-
maybe you burn out on it.
I've seen a
after
couple
while.
of people get the platinum on
Yeah.
it, but I'm just choosing my time wisely, I guess. There's a lot of the missions that I'm just like, okay, I've done a few of those. I don't want to do 10 more of those.
I think
That's not super fun.
sure. I think the research stations have been the best for me on the side stuff.
Those
just
are
because they change it up so much from
they
mission
do.
to mission.
Yeah, the weird platforming things.
Yeah, like
challenges and stuff.
I just did the one that disables your swing.
Okay. Yep.
Like you can do every other traversal ability except
Right.
the basic swing.
Yeah.
So and I think it's timed.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get around quickly without the thing that you rely on all
Do you
the time.
ever find any of those that like won't let you? It's like, hey, you need the double web zip to even attempt this. Do they let you get into it even if you haven't unlocked all the
never
mobility stuff? Like,
seen
I just wonder
anything.
if all of them were built for like a level 1 Spider-Man, no upgrades to be able to complete them successfully, or if
I don't
there's
wanna
any that are like, hey,
say
you
I
need...
hit a wall, but I definitely noticed that there were some where it's like, God, this would be a lot easier if my swing speed was a little bit better.
Sure.
So
Right.
I did say,
Oh, that's right, because you get those passive like every few levels, right? It's like 5% swing speed. And
Yep.
stuff,
Yeah, so those are like chasing all the pigeons down and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm gonna wait a little bit to do those, but luckily there's still a shit ton of things to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many like types of missions that they've thrown into this, and just different mechanics, and they've thrown everything in here, and they've done it reasonably well or like spectacularly.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with how they pulled off this open world stuff.
It's hard to find much to complain about.
Yeah, they gave me a good combat system. They gave me fun stuff to do. In the open world environment.
I hate the big dudes in the combat. That's probably my least favorite thing.
That is like my early experience. It was when I was last week pretty put off by it. It was because I just think the big dudes are not fun.
You gotta web them up, and there's a skill where you can swing them around. They're nothing. They're nothing after
the big problem for me is that their hits can kind of follow you through your dodge and hit you anyway. Like when you're kind of at the end of your dodge before you can do it again.
It's the sort of stuff that like once you've leveled up and gotten once you've expanded the combat, like none of that's a problem.
Yeah,
but early game, it's like, this isn't that great.
They're a little bit too burly.
We've got a full review of that up in podcast form.
Indeed.
If you're listening to this podcast, maybe subscribe to Giant Bomb Presents, where we've got a full chunk of time, in-depth review about
Are we talking
Spider-Man.
about a spoiler cast?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, that's too much Spider-Man. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Thank God. That would be
I
awful.
would love to talk in depth about
I'll just talk to
the
myself
story
about
stuff
it.
of this game.
You and me afterwards.
That may be a ways off.
How close are you guys to the end? You said
not super
first
far.
act.
I guess I'm
first
in.
act.
I guess I'm in Act 2.
Okay.
Like I got the trophy that says finish Act 1.
Gotcha.
And the kind of the big calamitous event that happens there.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then they ratchet it up. Like I actually don't want to do any of the side stuff now because there's so much urgency in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just like I have to go see what's up with that.
I spent all my time last time I played it doing nothing but side stuff, and then every so often, like you get the same voice line over and over again. It was like, I should really check in on this thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I get it. I'm gonna find these fucking backpacks. Stop talking.
Have you guys noticed that there's like usually 2 takes for voice lines?
Yeah, I
and
saw
stuff?
that. That was kind of making the rounds on
That's
Twitter.
amazing.
That is really fantastic attention to detail.
Uncharted did stuff like that. Like sports games do that. Like they did it really well here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a well put together game.
Super impressed. But yeah, I'm gonna hold off, I think, until DLC, which is like mid-October or something like that, later October.
Yep.
I wonder if that stuff will be in the same environment, so it'll be like a chance to check off some of the side stuff you haven't done, like on your way to and from DLC things. Like that might be
I wonder
a better way to finish all that side shit.
They're talking about
if
a
you
new
ended
game
up wanting
plus
to get
mode as well, so you can carry over your stuff. I don't know how that's going to work.
Like otherwise, I don't know what else they would do. Like, are they going to build out Brooklyn and let you go there? They'd have to like literally build another borough.
That seems unlikely. But
well, the first one is with Felicia, so you'll be doing like heist stuff with her or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's more like building interior type stuff is what they'll be doing.
I think so.
DLC.
Yeah, it was weird. Like they have complete side mission structure for Black Cat. You never see her in the game though.
Oh,
That's the thing. Like you get to her lair and stuff like that, but it's just like, you never actually run into her. So I guess they're saving her for the DLC. I know that's a minor spoiler. Apologies, but
that thing's
a quest that opens up.
They've shown that sort of stuff.
The thing seems to have taken off like a rocket. Like I think I saw already. I don't know if it was the overall fastest selling game of the year or maybe just fastest selling on PlayStation, but it is. I mean, my friends list was chock-a-block with people playing Spider-Man this weekend.
Heavily advertised.
Yeah,
I've seen ads all over the place on TV.
Yeah, good for Insomniac.
Yeah, if I do have any gripes, it's probably the the stealth missions, but they're sparse. Thankfully.
Yeah, they'll be a little clunky here and there.
Yeah, I just barreled through them. Just like I knew that I was going to get caught, and then it was just a trial and error thing. So I'm just like, fuck it. All right, I'm just going to go this way. All right, that didn't work. Restart. And usually it just took me a few tries. So anybody that's struggling, keep the faith, man. You can do it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think that ended up being Ben's big gripe with the game as well.
I can see
that sort of stuff.
Those are kind of a bummer.
How y'all doing on Destiny a week into the expansion?
507.
Thumbs up from Rory.
504.
I just hit 508 last night.
I like it a lot after that soft cap getting up to the point where you can actually do shit in that some minor spoilers.
I don't know if that counts as a
There's
spoiler.
a zone that you start off in, and then there's another zone after that.
Yeah, there are two. I mean, I think they said there
two
are
patrol
there are
zones.
2 new zones in this one and not just
that
one.
second zone is fucking killer. And then you,
Yeah.
we're gonna go right to my complaint about it. You get the 500 the soft cap, and
skipping
then,
over all the good stuff.
yeah,
Because there's probably, I don't know, what's it take to get through that whole campaign and get to that? It's probably 12 hours of stuff
lengthy,
before
yeah.
you get to that second zone.
It's 20 more levels, so you
It's
get a lot of stuff.
that story campaign is one of the better
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
sequences of content they've done in any Destiny.
I'm at the
Like,
part
it's
now
really
where it's
well done.
just frustrating me.
Did you finish it?
I did.
The story stuff?
I got the city open.
Okay.
So that's where I stopped.
Yeah.
You attuned?
Yeah, I
can't believe it's got an
attuned,
attunement quest.
and finished all that stuff. And yeah, I 507 is where I ended up. Not really into any of the gear I found along the way. Like found 0 exotics.
Me
I don't know
too.
if that's by design or
Oh,
they've
yeah, I
said
think-
it's way lower drop rate.
yeah.
Did you
But it's just I got there and I'm like I'm not attached to any of this gear. Like I don't feel like I found anything that cool other than the helmet I got looks fun.
Yeah.
It's got wings off the back of it. It's like this is a cool looking helmet. But
Well, with the random perks, you like potentially anything that drops could be cool.
it's a different problem of just like all of it's meaningless, but for different reasons now.
Kind of. Well-
Before I was just infusing it into shit. Now I'm just like, well, it's 507, but none of this is exotic. So at some point I'm going to toss all this aside anyway. And it's, yeah, I don't know. I think I am never going to be happy with gear in Destiny, I guess.
I don't know. I've been finding sets of perks that I think are pretty entertaining.
Yeah, sets of perks that are just like, but it's
Or
more
I
just
guess,
like,
I guess the stuff, the unique perks on the exotics in the base game were never like crazy enough to me that I felt like I had to have them all the time.
the
Like, I'm trying
arms
to
I
think of-
have that like increase melee range, that's a major gameplay difference. That like playing without that for most of the game, it was just me whiffing because it doesn't lunge. Because before it would just home in and punch a guy.
Play a warlock that's built into
Fuck
their
that shit.
subclass now.
But like the super that I unlocked, the Code of the Missile thing, the new super, or I guess there's 9 new supers in the game.
Yeah.
But the one that I chose to unlock and used is like the most fun I've had playing that game. Is fucking dive bombing onto motherfuckers. And,
Yeah.
and like it's really fun.
They really like deeply redesigned a lot of that subclass.
It's really
stuff.
fun
Like,
to
it plays
use
very differently
against I'm liking the Gambit mode also, which
Yeah.
is their new co-op
Yeah, Gambit's
competitive multiplayer
It's fun.
thing, and that's really fun because then I can save up that super for when someone invades or when I've invaded over to the other side and like just run up and just speared into the ground and where all 4 players are standing. So I'm like, fuck you guys.
And invading the other side and killing like 3 people and resetting their
really fun.
primeval's health
really
to
fun.
full is super satisfying.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
picked
really
the worst one, the
it's a
worst
really,
super.
really fun mode.
I picked the Titan shield one, like the
Oh, yeah.
defensive
Captain
one.
America one.
defense is boring.
Yeah, it kind of is. But the super you do is like you can make a protective wall, and
that
when
one.
people shoot through it, they'll get more power. But
That seems like something that,
Yeah.
like, I bet when the raid comes along,
Yeah.
people be like, if you're not using this, then get out of our group, because that seems like something that would
Kinda
be
like
like,
that,
everyone
but-
needs to stand here and
Yeah.
shoot.
They, I kind of appreciate this that they really make the choice of which subclass you pick matter because
Yeah.
apparently getting those items to unlock the other 2 is very tough.
I didn't mean to say the worst one, but for me, playing mostly solo when strikes, nobody's standing
Yeah,
behind me when a
totally.
strike to do anything. So for right now, it's kind of. I wish I could change it, but
Them revamping some of the reward systems to be daily reset instead of weekly, or in addition to weekly, is smart.
there's just so much to do now to
yeah.
get gear
Right. And
compared to the release game.
and it's like, it's good, and you look at it and go like, man, just imagine if the rest of the game had been like this
Yeah,
instead
I
of
mean,
them like
yeah.
finding it a year in. And
That's the Destiny trajectory at this point.
but that's like that's bad.
no, I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah.
But I also like I see people out there talking like they intentionally like made a bad game at release so they could make it better later.
No,
and that's insanity.
That's not how any of this works.
Like I'm
but at
not,
the same time,
like yes, there were some significant missteps with Destiny 2, but like I don't think they.
but now we're at that midpoint between there's going to be another year of Destiny 2 content, in fits and starts, whatever they put out, and then theoretically a Destiny 3.
Yeah, I wonder.
And then you think about that and go like, well, hopefully they'll build on this stuff for Destiny 3, because they sure as shit didn't do it for Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. They just threw out a lot of stuff and replaced it with kind of middling, or some ideas that were good, some ideas that were pretty bad, and then corrected them over the course of a year. And
I mean, they tried a lot of stuff and some of it didn't work.
sure.
Like,
yeah, I guess
that's
you're right.
basically
That
how I
is,
look at it.
yeah.
I still think that the second zone opening up and having everything be like 540 to do.
Yeah, that is the roughest thing about
lame.
this expansion. I think to me is you finish the story at the soft cap of like 500 power, and the trash mobs in that second zone are start at 530.
And maybe this is complaining about just kind of maybe that I'm not a hardcore player. I don't really want to grind out powerful gear.
So I joined the super active Giant Bomb forum clan that you're in.
Yeah.
I saw on the Discord, the clan leader this morning has 3 characters in the like 526 to 530 range.
Yo, what?
So it is possible to play the fuck out of that game.
If you're not familiar with how it works, you hit the soft cap to 500, and at that point, like no drops will go over 500. You have to get the powerful gear, which is
and there are limited opportunities to get gear that will advance your level.
I don't play PvP, so all the PvP stuff, this is my problem, not the game's problem. I don't want to do any of that. So all those powerful gear drops are not something I'm going to get. So basically,
but they make those PvP quests super easy to.
I don't want to be the guy like you can complete a PvP. I don't want to be the guy like shooting a wall for 10 minutes and laming everybody else out. I just don't want to do it. So my problem is like the powerful gear stuff is a little more limited to me, and it feels like a grind to get to the point where
if you're not a super like you level maybe a little too fast through the story, and then you hit that really wall, and then you have to grind very slowly. Like I feel like they could have smoothed that curve
it's
out
not
more.
A killer, but at this point I will wait for the weekly powerful gear stuff and take what I've come to realize about myself. I don't care about doing stuff quick. I don't want to do anything that I don't find fun in order to do the stuff that I do find fun. So I'm not going to grind out PvP stuff that I don't find very fun. I'll wait, but the only thing now is that it feels like I have to do a fair amount of powerful gear grinding to get through the story of what I know. Stuff happens.
Are there actual missions that open up in that area? Because I finished
seems like it.
I'm not. it doesn't seem like there's anything there.
I'm not sure
because I finished when you first get there's a mission and you complete that, and then it does these like screen popping like, hey, zone is now open to you. And then you button out of that, and you're like, okay, there's nothing in this zone to do except for there's the prison of it's like the prison of elders looking thing, or the
it's the new escalation.
The new
protocol.
escalation
I can't
thing.
remember what it's called.
There's like
is it Spire of Stars?
Maybe
it's like 540 though.
Whatever.
So there's like that thing, but that's not really a story thing. That's just a repeatable.
I'll find out in a few months.
Yeah,
and
I think there's the raid launched. I think today is when the raid launches. Did you see people found a way to glitch into the raid this weekend, and there was a chest where you could get a free raid drop?
I heard.
It kills me that I found that right after they fixed it.
Yeah, whatever.
Saw people were getting the helmet or the rocket launcher out of the raid, and like that Bungie came out and said like, yeah, we're not going to take away any of that stuff.
Yeah, why would you?
So just because WoW does the same thing. I hate to bring up WoW every time I'm on this, but WoW has gone to the same thing where your eye level will govern what you get from world quests now. So if you're like 295 to 305, you'll get a certain eye level reward, and as soon as you hit that threshold, the next threshold, you'll start getting like 10 more eye levels. So it's a very slow progress up the eye level charts if you're doing anything other than like mythic pluses in WoW. So it's really weird to see that Destiny and WoW doing the same kind of stuff. It's kind of lame. I kind of like getting big boosty big rewards instead of this little granular kind of.
I feel like over the course of the Destiny campaign, there were 2 or 3 spots where I got items that were like significantly higher than my level.
You get the crossbow,
the crossbow was the bow was one of them, and then there was another item later on that was just like, here's a fucking item that is like 30 fucking light above where you are.
I got a drop out of Crucible. I was like 380 power, and I got a drop that was over 500. And I couldn't even equip it because I would needed like 6 extra levels. But I almost wondered if that was a bug or something.
Weird.
Like it was so high.
I don't know. I like it a lot, but the end part of it, like I don't.
Yeah, that grind is a little rough.
I think
not super thrilled about it.
I think the right way to play Destiny is to play the stuff and stop.
Yeah,
and
maybe
that's a good way to have a good time with Destiny. If you treat it like it's a World of Warcraft, or expect it to have the level of updates and service that a monthly subscription game is going to have, like you're always going to be disappointed. It's just not that game.
Yeah,
even if they try to position it that way, or I think players maybe more so than Bungie, but it like people try to position that game into that same lane as WoW.
Yeah, I mean it has a lot. It has a lot of those trappings.
Yeah, it does. But
and it does enough things right that you want it to be that, but it's not.
They never have enough content to support it, and I think at some point I came to terms with that and said like, oh, that's just not what this game's ever going to be. Yeah.
I enjoy logging in and shooting shit. That's what I do. Even in Destiny 2 vanilla, I would go in and do a couple public events and have a good time. That game shoots really well.
And to their credit, now they have built all these rewards and these quests in such a way that when you play it that way, you will advance.
Right, and I think I could see myself, getting in there and like I'll play some Gambit here and there because it's just a fun, quick thing to knock out, or like, hey, these. the heroic quests or the heroic adventures or whatever, like when those reset, go do a flashpoint, go do this. Like, oh yeah, it's still fun to just go around and shoot all this shit.
Yeah.
And I have enough like weird, even just going back to regular ass Destiny 2, there's enough fucking like stuff. And then the Rat King and like all this other dumb shit that like if I wanted to just settle down and knock some stuff out, I've got like 9 or 10 things I could theoretically do.
There's some more recent stuff that sounds actually pretty satisfying, and you can get some exotics out of that.
Right.
Like there's the Sleeper Simulant.
Yeah.
Like, so they did this Whisper of the Worm quest. I don't know if you guys saw that. That's basically kind of the new Black Spindle.
I looked at it and just like rolled my eyes at the complexity of it.
I mean, it's rough.
You would never
you
find
have to be devoted as hell, and watch
a browser window.
Watch a YouTube guide to figure out how to do it. But at least they're putting some of that mysterious, like challenging stuff back in there.
The thing I'd say about Forsaken, like overall, is that this feels like the clearest realization of them creating a flow through that game that touches every piece of it.
Yeah.
Where like the story takes you to the adventures that then takes you back to a story, you know, because the when they pop all these Barons quests or whatever, like
the
those
bosses,
the boss stuff, like that's a thing outside of the story missions that you have to go do that is actually like cool and unique.
Yeah, some of those are really cool.
Then that flows back into the more traditional story mission. Like it feels like they're using every part of Destiny 2 to create that Forsaken arc. And I think that's maybe it feels like someone sat down and said, what are all the pieces we have at our disposal? This is still Destiny 2. We can't bolt on anything too crazy, but let's make the most of what we can do. And I think they've done a really good job of exploiting everything they had at their disposal to make this thing.
We shouldn't gloss over the boss, like 8 bosses you track down. All
those things
are pretty
like,
unique and fun to do. They're really
I want to talk about them, but I worry that it like kind of spoils the surprise.
There's one of them we did a quick look. It's up on the site. We do one of them there.
Like you do one that is a fight on like a speeder bikes,
Sparrows.
Basically.
There's trikes. Pikes,
and even just in the fiction, like they're all like fallen or like corrupted fallen type bosses, but like one of them is obsessed with the hive and dresses up like a hive and wants to become a hive god.
Yeah,
I have to say the whole. So they get it pretty early on. Is it justice or revenge? Like this is way too heavy for Destiny.
They don't explore.
You kill 1 million people.
That actual story arc, I think, is really poorly done because it depends on you giving a shit about Cade.
Yeah.
Which I can barely even remember that fucker's name.
Yeah, totally. But I will credit them because like Cade can be super overbearing, but I will give him credit for like that death sequence being really well done. Yeah. Even for a character that is kind of
here comes Cade
as well. It's fancy cutscenes for sure.
Yeah, but it's well done.
But yes, for as much as they can do well by that,
even though he can be kind of grating,
I think that all of the story stuff. It's like I look at it and go like, this is well done. If someone were to care about these characters, they would probably care about all this stuff. But when I watch the lady talk about like Cade was my friend, it's like, no, Cade's a mission giver, just like you are. Like you just stand there and there's an inventory next to you of shit I can buy. Like you're in the cutscenes, but you haven't even been in enough of those to matter. Like I think they could do a better job of working other characters into the story, and it feels like something they realized halfway through Destiny 2 of just like, I guess we should try to make these characters matter.
Oh no, they did that at the launch of the game.
Yeah, because we want to kill one later, so we should probably start working on that now.
That was the whole problem with base Destiny 2, was they took the criticism of the first game, which was that it had no story or an incomprehensible story, and they kind of took the wrong lesson from it.
It was sort of like,
all right, let's build these characters into superheroes and do a very traditionally video gamey story.
It was the weird thing about Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2 was they took all the playable characters from Borderlands 1 and made them story and mission givers in Borderlands 2. Yeah. And it was maybe a slightly different feeling, but it was my problem with that was looking at it and go like, I want to play as that character because his skill tree is better. All these playable characters in Borderlands 2 are shit compared to the ones in Borderlands 1. It's a bummer that I have to go and talk to these people at all because it just is a reminder that like that stuff's better. I guess Destiny doesn't necessarily have that problem per se, but it is still this feeling of just like these characters don't matter the way that the makers of this game seem to think they do.
Like they're fine as a backdrop, but like I want the story of Destiny that I want is just discovering like the lost secrets of the solar system.
Every gun has a story.
Well, hey, the armory is coming, so maybe that's actually
like if they got back to like player stories are a thing, right? You know, like that there are meaningful. There could be more meaningful things to tell about your time with Destiny 2 if they lean into that a little bit better. But when you've got a system where these exotics are now preset with these loadouts, like they always were. Now you've got legendaries even that like they have some rolls on them, but like your player story is like, yeah, I got a gun with the perk I wanted.
Yeah,
it's the same gun as the one you have, but hey, it almost seems like they just need way more fucking guns to like create that feeling.
Not finding a single exotic was weird. I know they nerfed it a lot to make them feel more special, but I haven't gotten a single. I've upgraded one I had before, and that's what I think a lot of people are doing. But Also, the weird thing is, why is there a prison in that solar system? Like it's full up of fallen and taken and everything like that. I don't recall ever arresting anybody.
Yeah. Well, the public events in this, the heroic versions of the public events, you straight up arrest people.
No. It's true.
I feel like I'm bitching a little more than it's deserved. That game is still one of my. It's amazing on PC. Like it runs super well. It's super fun to shoot shit. It's a great shooter. It's just like the niggling little things at the edges kind of do just annoy me to the point where just a little bit, but I still want to log in and play more.
I think it's a situation where, like, when I look at what Destiny 2 is, and it's like I have a really good time with it, and yeah, there's like those things about it that you're like, man, if this stuff was just ironed out, this would be amazing. This would be like you would keep playing it.
Sure, I still recommend it. I'm definitely nitpicking some of the complaints.
Yeah, totally. It's still my favorite shooter on the market.
Yeah, definitely. I like I said, I want to play more. I'm wait for the resets too, but the weekly stuff I'll definitely keep checking it on Tuesdays to see what else I can get.
The one thing I wanted to say that they do way better than the base game is have you follow the core story of the campaign through into the raid content.
Right.
Like in the first in Destiny, or in 2, you dispatch the bad guy, the story's over.
Warmind was the same thing. Like Warmind just kind of ended. You handed something off to the AI.
Well, those are smaller DLCs, but I mean, in the base game, what I mean is the raid showed up and it was completely divorced from practically anything that happened.
It was just like, oh, this is a new thing.
Like, where the fuck did this ship come from? Okay,
right.
I guess I'll go kill it.
Yeah.
But in this, you get answers, you get a conclusion to the main story of revenge or whatever, but it also introduces a bunch of questions that make you want to go into that new area.
You're right.
And like follow the story into the raid and actually see what's going on.
One thing I'm not sure that it gets enough credit for is level design. Like world design, environment design is amazing. It's huge in scope, epic in style. You don't get to go through a lot of it.
Like,
but
that's why I dug my heels in on the best looking game category last year. Like this game, I think this expansion is even better. Like some of the strikes, some of just the straight up environment art in the strikes.
That first mission of you going through the prison, I think, looks tremendous.
It's cool. It's a dumb idea to have a prison in the universe, but it's a fantastic.
Have you done any of the new strikes yet?
Yeah, I did one.
Like I did the one where you clear out the hive nest last night.
2 of them,
There's a couple in the prison.
There's supposed to be 3. I think the third one isn't out yet.
Just like dramatic lighting and like amazing scenery. Like they spend a lot on the art in those games.
Stuff in the background, just like looking up at the Warmind, the interior of the Warmind. That AI thing is huge, and it's a shame you don't really get to explore it too much. But the level design in that game is fantastic.
It's like an amusement park. Yeah, it's like everything looks real pretty, but you don't quite get to touch it the way you want to.
Except for when you walk into a room and there's weird music playing.
Yeah, that's a great moment.
Well, speaking of raids, there's a WoW raid that came out last week. I'm going to do a stream today at 5 o'clock. If anybody wants to join, it's community co-op.
I'll be there.
You have to be 120 Alliance. We'll stream for an hour.
No problem. I'll get caught up.
WoW is disappointing. This expansion.
Really?
I've definitely seen
is that where it's
sentiment going like
it's a step back from Legion.
Really?
To be sure. Like I think it's pretty common. From what I see, you see what you want to see, but a lot of the community stuff is like this is kind of there's no idea where we're going with the stuff. A lot of it's like rep grinds.
I've heard it's been like there have been issues kind of plaguing it.
Yeah, a lot of bugs.
As well.
A lot of the stuff they put in to occupy the time before the first patch is just busy work, like the island expeditions. It's just like it's kind of like Gambit-ish co-op instance kind of stuff, but there's no real story to it. It's just kind of like busy work. So I'm watch the stream today. I'll talk more about it. Yay! But we have 25 slots for community members. Anybody wants to join in. I just wanted to mention it briefly, guys. People keep on asking me like, "Hey, you feel like What I'm really curious about WoW is not because Eric said it was like the breast. It's the breast pre-selling.
Okay, all right, yeah. Tell me more.
It's one of the best selling expansions they've done so far. I'm really curious more about the drop off in like the first month, like people who just don't continue subscribing. That'd be more what I'm curious about. But
yeah,
so far the chatter has been kind of a lot of the stuff they put into this expansion feels like a downgraded version of the stuff from the previous expansion. Like instead of legendary weapons, you have this neck that just kind of a neck slot thing that just kind of keeps on leveling up.
I got this neck.
You don't input anything to it.
Level up his neck.
Yeah, got a level 9 neck.
It's really weird. I think a lot of people are just waiting to see what the next patch is going to be. But yeah, so far, I mean, I like WoW a lot. I will never stop playing WoW until it burns out. But so far, it seems like it's kind of kind of a bummer.
How many more years do you think it's got?
I think it's got a lot of years left in it. I'd be really surprised if it wasn't like. I mean, EverQuest is still going.
EverQuest is coming up on 20 years, right?
Something like that. Yeah. WoW's got a long way to go before they even think about doing anything else.
The other thing about coming back to Destiny 2, that this is kind of put into the forefront is that the PC version is a detriment to the community aspect of Destiny 2.
It is.
How do you
mean?
I mean that like everyone leveled up on PS4. And then everyone, like half the players I know, bailed for PC.
I think more than half.
Yeah, more than half.
I hate to say this because like the port is fantastic. I'm happy that people get to play it on the PC.
I should probably have played it more on PC. I actually played a significant amount on PC.
It has fucking demolished the community that I got used to playing.
The existing clan we had got decimated because most of the players either completely bailed on the game or moved to PC. And now you're like, oh, we should play together. And they're like, oh, well, I leveled up on PC. And you're like, I'm over here on fucking PS4.
Anybody's interested? There are a couple of clans.
Cross-game support.
A couple clans going.
Yeah.
What
cross-platform character. Even just a character transfer.
You mean like a one-time?
Yeah.
Oh, they would charge you. They charge
fucking fine.
$50
like, whatever. Like, you know, like if I could have moved that character to PC, I would have done it.
Sure.
I mean, there is a boost, so you can kind of get that on the PC. But I mean, yes, you have to start over. It's not perfect.
Yeah,
but
I ran through that campaign again on PC, so I'm already like most of the way there.
You kind of have the boost already. Well, that skips you past all the DLC.
For me, it's also a case of just like, do I want to buy Forsaken again? And now they're like, oh, well, I would get it's weirdly expensive.
It is really pricey.
Yeah,
like
it's 40, and
it's 40, and then they have an $80 edition as well.
I think it's 70 for just
there's also an $80 edition. There's 3 editions of an expansion, and you're just like, these are all digital editions. What are we doing? It just seems kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, I want more than a one-time transfer. I want a character that I could play on both.
Yeah. The ideal is
stories to come over.
The ideal is that at least the non-competitive content would be a shared player base.
Maybe
like
you
that,
have to.
That seems.
Maybe you have to lock out multiplayer stuff.
Sure,
for
I think you would.
I think they already have. PlayStation already has a thing where they can do mouse keyboard players separate from controller players.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think the game has.
I'm not sure what game, but I think Sony.
Fortnite theoretically, like, is if you are just on PS4 playing, you will only play with PS4 players, and then if you are playing with someone on a PC, you'll be put onto, I think, PC servers is how it works.
I don't know,
but never Xbox servers. But like, Street Fighter V has like cross play between PS4 and PC. Like, it exists.
Like, I bet Activision would sell 3 copies of that game to a good number of people if you could play the same character on all 3 platforms.
Maybe,
or at least 2. Yeah. At least 1 console and PC. I could see, because if I could do that, I would.
Or even if just clans were, if the clan rewards were shared across platform, or you had like this clan exists on all 3 platforms, but someone did this stuff on Xbox and you all get the engram, or something like that. Because our clan just got decimated from drop off and people moving to PC.
It's depressing.
And
all I know is there's a vibrant giant bomb community around Destiny.
Yeah, you can go looking and find clans on different
Discord stuff
different communities. Will definitely have
go to the forums. You should be able to find links to the communities and everything like that. The clan that I'm in, Goldman Shacks, I want to say.
That's a good name.
That's a good clan name.
Yeah, very good. Being in guild chat, which I don't think there was guild chat at the launch of Destiny 2, but they added it in at some point, and that is pretty active, and a lot of people looking for groups and stuff like that. So if you're playing solo,
that's only on PC. I don't think guild chat exists or clan chat exists on console.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. It's been fun to play that game. Destiny 2 vanilla was so barren. Like, I was in one of the old giant bomb clans that is also kind of fallen by the wayside. And there's just a lonely experience. But now having a pretty active clan and clan chat and stuff like that, it's a lot better.
It's a really fun game. So I played through that stuff on PS4, thinking like, well, I'd already played through all the other content there. I might as well stay with this character. And then it was this feeling of just like, am I should I do this again on PC? Should I buy that fucking expansion and do this? Because that's where most of the people I know are playing. And it's like, fuck, man. But by the time I get there, they will have fallen off of it. So it's kind of pointless now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I really don't want to do that grind to get up to 540 or whatever, but I will do it over time. But there's a lot of FOMO in terms of like,
you want to be part of the raid.
Want to be part of the raid.
The raid is happening. Sure. Yeah. It'll make sense.
But yeah, it's a really, really good, I'd say a very, very good game. And it's definitely an upgrade over Destiny 2 vanilla. And I'm just curious about Destiny 3 if they're going to reset the characters again, because I know a lot of people were really mad about that.
I'm curious when there will be a Destiny 3.
I figure, hopefully, I don't know.
Next year?
I don't know. This is the first DLC. No, there's been 2 DLCs before this.
Yeah, but the 2 got delayed a year. That's the thing. They wanted a Destiny 2 out 2 years after the first one.
I'm not sure.
I wonder if they will hit 2 years this time or not.
Activision has other revenue streams they can rely on in the meantime, I assume. Call of Duty's looking...
Candy Crush.
Yeah.
That's right.
Damn.
Last thing I want to mention before we go to the break, I am a few hours into Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
The third Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
If I just beat Rise of the Tomb Raider, is that more of the same? Or
It is very much in that mold.
Okay. I'm not complaining that would be the case, but I literally took like a year to beat Rise. And
very, very similar structure. I mean, you've got base camp, like campfires that you fast travel between, and there's little hub areas built around each one. You can find optional tombs.
There was something about the reveal of that game, and when they showed it off pre-E3, and I watched a very long presentation for that game, where like the vibe I got off of it was, man, this game seems so superfluous. Like it just doesn't, I get that, hey, you got a trilogy, all this other stuff, but like something about it and their pitch for it of just like, the tombs are better. It was just like, man, you guys have nothing left to say, huh?
Yeah.
Like that was their pitch. The tombs are better. This is where she becomes the Tomb Raider, which is, I feel like that's been the message for the past fucking 2 games.
I thought she rose last time.
I don't know, man. and it was just this feeling of just like, I came away from it going like, I don't know why you're making this game.
Yeah. I like Rise of the Tomb Raider a lot.
Totally. I don't think it's a bad game, but I think I also got to a point with that game where by the end of it, I was like, I think I'm good. And seeing them doing this and it kind of being more the same, but with like some guilt dumped on it.
Yeah, I'm not deep enough in to say if they develop that stuff very well.
It sounds like just seeing reviews and stuff, it sounds like that stuff is not developed well at all, but I don't know.
It's hard for me to talk about this game because it's hard to articulate why I feel this way, but the game does just not feel as polished and well put together as the previous one.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. And again, it's hard to I can't point to any one thing and say that's why.
Yeah.
But it's like just little things about like the writing and the animation and the cutscenes and like some bugs I've run into.
Is this a different team?
It is. And like, okay. I don't want to make any assumptions based on that, but yeah, it's Eidos Montreal.
Okay.
Or are they Square Enix Montreal now?
I guess I don't know what they're. Yeah,
it's
I guess it would probably be Square Enix.
The Deus
That's
Ex studio. It's the studio that made the 2 Deus Ex games recently.
I know the second Deus Ex game had a lot of complaints about the polish being a little.
Was it unpolished? I remember it being fine in that respect. It just wasn't super exciting.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that game's fine. I think it got kind of a bad rap, but that game is totally okay. But I guess that's actually all I would say about it. It's okay to good. You know,
that's kind of how I feel.
Game.
That's how I feel about this.
Yeah,
like it's okay, but it's got some conspicuous rough spots on it.
We could have done without it. Like, it didn't, like, well, if they hadn't made that second Deus Ex game, I think people would feel a lot better about Adam Jensen and, like, previous game. Like, that game, I feel like, left everything. It left a bad taste in players' mouths in a way that I think, and it didn't do, whatever. Now they're making the third Tomb Raider games instead of a third Deus Ex game. So I think that says it all, but...
I mean, Rise of the Tomb Raider made significant changes to that first reboot.
Right.
Like they really expanded the concept.
Totally. And in really smart ways. Yes. You're like, okay, you're bolting on a lot of really cool shit here.
Like there's more exploration, more
like
Tomb
this
raiding.
is more what you wanted from that first game. And that first game was already like a good first attempt at rebooting.
Yeah, it was maybe trying a little too hard to be Uncharted for my taste. Sure. But they kind of made it its own thing in the second one, and now there is no similar leap from 2 to 3 here. Yeah. It's just kind of more of that. And maybe not as good. I'm not quite ready to say that yet. I'm not quite deep enough in. There are 21 types of crafting materials. I will say that.
Oh.
That's what they've changed.
My problem with the Rise was that I was constantly maxed out on all my craft. I never had to craft anything, and there was not really a much point in doing. Yeah. A lot of the weapon upgrades just didn't feel like it was. Over time, like from base to fully fleshed out weapon, felt like a big change. But a lot of that stuff just kind of felt tacked on, not really notice a huge difference. So I could use maybe, if they're going to go into having the crafting, I would say make more smaller things that you really have to save up for and make those changes big rather than like a lot of little small ticky-tacky things. But yeah, I never really had to make explosive arrows or gas arrows. I found plenty of them. So I never once used the health thing in combat because I was playing on normal difficulty. It wasn't too difficult. So a lot of the crafting stuff kind of felt like they had to have a crafting system and they didn't really have a lot of good things to build towards with that.
I will say, I don't know if this game is backloaded with combat, but I think my completion counter is between 15 and 20%, and I've fought 5 guys something, and it was all in the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like there's very little combat in the first few hours of that game. Like it's almost all exploration and puzzle solving, which is kind of refreshing.
The trailers for Rise were all about, you up in the trees.
Yeah, like
Ramboing
that's
people.
the thing is like, the trailer and that presentation I saw was very much just like, here's Lara Croft doing Batman shit, but she cuts their throats because she's not a punk ass like Batman.
For Shadow?
For this.
Yeah. I've seen very little of that.
It was just straight up fucking Predator rising up out of the water and killing people type stuff. And you're just like, all right, I mean, sure, I guess.
I mean, I saved at a stealth combat encounter, so that's definitely about to happen.
Right.
But I don't know. I'll keep playing it. We'll do a quick look, obviously, and other stuff. But it's just, we'll dig into it on video. But like, I just want to point at a bunch of little things that each sound nitpicky on their own, but taken all together, just sort of make it feel like it's not all the way there. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's weird that's coming out on Friday, too. Like, that's Nintendo
well, they did a whole
date.
thing where they like, buy it this version and you get to play it 2 days early, and like all that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah, yes, they did. I will say I'm playing it on the Xbox One X, and it's got a straight-up 60 FPS mode that's real nice. It looks fucking gorgeous. It's a great-looking game, and it runs super smooth on these new consoles.
Yo, that got that Tress effects?
No, the hair actually is one of those things that I would point to and say that actually looks kind of terrible.
Oh, wow.
Like, the wet hair looks completely fake. Like, just plastic pieces of plastic hair bolted to her head.
The fuck are we even doing?
I don't know.
What about 10 days out from those new Nvidia cards, I think, with the ray tracing?
Ray traced hair. Maybe that's what they're saving it for. Actually, they showed the Tomb Raider was one of the games they showed.
Yeah, it's got
some
ray tracing stuff built in.
That stuff looks dope.
Yes,
it looks really, really good, but 60 FPS.
So you're saying just buy one of those cards? You'd be crazy not to. Just spend the money, live your life. Like,
again,
definitely.
I think the TI is like $1,300.
Well, great. Let's get it.
We talked a little bit about the Nvidia frame rate or Nvidia benchmark stuff. I would definitely wait until those are out in people's hands before you trust any kind of benchmark.
Yes,
so
indeed.
But yeah, the ray tracing stuff sounds super cool, but also it sounds like it'll take 3 or 4 years for it to be usable for a lot of people. So when the next generation of consoles come out, I'm sure it'll be part of that. So
we'll see. All right, we gotta go get to break. Freaking games coming out.
Yeah,
apparently it's fall.
It
happened.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff to talk about. But we'll be right back.
Dreams.
Yeah. Like in your head?
It's like dreams in your head.
Like a mind cloud.
Exactly. A cloud in your mind that you've maybe want to transcribe into reality.
It's like a sleep movie.
Yeah. Put your sleep movie on the big screen of the internet.
Where it belongs.
That's right. Put it out there where the world can watch.
Oh, I don't know if they need to see that.
Not only do they need to see it, it's easier than ever to translate your dreams into realness.
You say so.
Squarespace makes it happen.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What can they do?
Squarespace can do
dreams?
anything for your dreams. They've made it easier than ever to get your stuff out there. If you've got a passion project
I might.
cooking around in your head,
Yep.
get that passion out there.
Banging around in there.
Bang it out.
Sounds like a can full of nails.
Yeah,
and
no,
like,
it's just
like
rattling
screws
around.
and
Just
stuff.
slap the side of your head and get it out. And then get it out all the way onto the internet. Whether it's a new business, you're trying to showcase your work, trying to publish some content, trying to sell something.
What if you're trying to sell yourself? What if you're the brand?
The ultimate internet destination.
I've seen online. I know how things work.
You know how things work online. Squarespace is the tool for you. They've got beautiful templates created by world-class designers, and you can customize just about anything with just a few clicks to make sure that your personal brand is repped to the fullest. Oh, yeah.
It's me. I'm the product.
That's right. Get yourself out there. Let people know, hey, it's me. Invest in me.
You could pay for me.
Pay for me. Let's make it happen. Look at this beautiful website. I use Squarespace. And if you want to order, it's got powerful e-commerce functionality.
www.me.me.
That's right. All the way up in there and all the way out onto the World Wide Web. You can sell anything online.
Like
anything.
Ooh. Like that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and those?
That's right.
And that other thing?
Oh, all of it.
Yikes.
And there's analytics that'll help you grow in real time.
Okay.
That's right. Get your personal brand out there in a personal, but also a worldwide way.
Ooh. Like Mr. Worldwide?
Mr. Worldwide is the sort of person who might benefit from a Squarespace website. I can say that with certainty because anyone could benefit from Squarespace website.
Yeah.
They've made buying domains simple.
Oh?
They've got 24/7 award-winning customer support. Everything's optimized for mobile, so if you want to get it on your phone...
It's like a one-stop shop.
Exactly. They're empowering millions of people in all walks of life to turn great ideas into something real.
Oh. Something you can feel.
That's right.
So you hold it in your hand.
Well, it's a website.
Oh. Wait, those aren't real?
I mean, they're as real as anything.
Okay.
Head over to squarespace.com/bombcast and you can take a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast. Offer code BOMBCAST.
All right, it's time for the news, and just in time because our intrepid field reporter is calling in with a breaking story.
All right.
Let's go direct in the field to one Rich Gallup.
Hey, Brad, it's me, Rich Gallup. I'm just north of the border of Rhode Island, where there is a huge party going on because they have got paid $900,000 for the rights to the Kingdoms of Amalur IP. The people of Rhode Island are going crazy.
It sounds like a real barn burner up there.
Rich, this is Jeff Gersman here. I just had one question. Do you know, is the $900,000 going to anything specific? How will the people of Rhode Island use this windfall?
Well, half of it is going towards legal fees, of course.
Yeah.
At least, if not a little more than that. Yep, lawyers will get some. And then they're going to use it to buy... oh, man, I can't remember. The weird kind of hot dogs they eat and the coffee milkshakes cabinets. They're going to get a lot of cabinets. Everyone in the state gets a cabinet to drink.
Wow.
That's
a real boon to the local economy out there in Rhode Island.
Yep, that's right. Rich, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Raise your hand if you thought that 38 Studios was going to be in the news again anytime soon.
Not today.
Well, yeah, it depends on your perspective because actually it's been in the news a lot lately because it's election season. So 38 Studios always comes up in Rhode Island during election season. Sure. And the state of Rhode Island just lost a fight to retain the Pawtucket Red Sox minor league team in Rhode Island. They asked for a whole bunch of money from the state. And of course, everyone said, we can't do that. Look at 38 Studios. And then they said, okay, we'll scrape together what can we do? What can we do? And the number they came up with, like, all right, Pawtucket Red Sox, we can give you $38 million.
Perfect.
Coincidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Pawtucket Red Sox are like, nah, thanks, we're going to Worcester.
So looking at this, the shutdown and the liquidation happened like 5 years ago. I'm surprised that's still like an ongoing political campaign thing.
6 years ago.
6 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Still top of the mind out there?
For a lot of people, I mean, it's a big thing.
People still feeling burned?
Minds. Yeah, there's Massachusetts, no one talks about it up here, but Rhode Island, yeah, it's still a hot button enough. Like there's still people running, and if you basically were in favor of the 38 Studios deal, then that gets brought up in a political debate every time.
Okay.
Wow. And so, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, if being former 38 Studios, so I guess the news, they sold off the
we should say what actually happened.
THQ
Nordic.
It
was kind of on an IP buying spree. They just picked up the Free Radical and Time Splitter stuff like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And now, here they are. They have acquired Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which is that's the 360.
Yes.
Is it also PS3?
They've gotten everything. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think they got the console game, which is made.
But what I mean is Reckoning is the game that actually made it to market. So,
right.
So they've got that finished shipping game, and they've got everything that was made for the MMO, which never quite saw the light of day.
And so the press release is one of the craziest things I've seen in a press release in some time. Discounting anything that mentions the word blockchain in it. There's a paragraph in there where they're like, yeah, we need to get a hold of EA. So if anyone receiving this needs to, has any contacts over at EA, please let us know. We would love to talk to our friends, our colleagues at EA. So it's like it seems like they bought this IP, but like EA is still the publisher of record for Kingdoms of like for Reckoning.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So presumably they don't necessarily just have the rights to put that game back out again. They would have to negotiate something with EA, and instead of asking around the people who work there, who, like clearly there's a chain that they could use to get a message to someone at EA that doesn't involve them devoting like paragraph 2 of their press release to, we need to get a hold of EA. If anyone's got anyone, it's bizarre. So Rich, as someone who was there for a lot of the development of this content, and I'm wonder, I don't know if you keep in touch with anyone else who was at the studio back then. How are you receiving this news?
Oh yeah, well, we have a Facebook group that's still active from time to time. Normally, we use it for sharing job openings, but people are like, "Oh, neat." We're at the point where like, "Oh, it'd be great if one, it's amazing for because we're basically two studios, the MMO studio and the RPG studio, and it's amazing for our friends who work so hard down in Baltimore at Big Huge Games to make this console game that it will hopefully see new life. Like that is awesome. They worked so hard on that, and for years before they were part of 38 Studios, they worked on it. So to see that story continue is awesome. And then for the people I'm closer with at the MMO, it's like, man, it'd be really cool if this stuff that we worked really hard on, like some part of it got out because we really liked it. We don't expect like the MMO is not going to come back. Like the moment we all left the studio, there's so much just knowledge in everyone's heads that you need to make a very complicated game operate. That's not coming back. But like if the art comes out and somehow we had a team of like 40 environment artists and like 30 character artists and animators. Like if some of that gets reused, awesome. If some of the lore that we built with RA Studio and our team, RA Salvatore and our writers gets to come out, like it's nice. And that's the most of the chatter. And then a couple of people in the thread are like, so we getting those paychecks now?
Everyone gets their house back.
Oh, geez. They did that already. No, thank you.
Still too soon.
Yeah. I wonder, like, in your view, do you think that there's any value in the tech behind it? You talk about the art and stuff, but like, I just don't know one way or the other. Like, I don't know if that tech would still have value in 2018, 2019, or is it dated?
Depends on which game. So the RPG that was rolled, I believe, with an in-house engine. So if you want value in that, you will need the people who made it, more or less. On the MMO, we made that. That was an Unreal game.
Okay.
And the server side of it, like the interesting stuff, some of that could be usable, but I don't think it'd be worth the effort. It'd be expensive.
Yeah, I just find myself wondering like if they would ever think about resurrecting or putting out something resembling an MMO with any of that stuff.
If you talk to the lawyer's well, what they've done I believe they've left a server running that the game can connect to.
Oh wow! Because they probably needed to show it off to people to say, hey, please buy this, right?
Exactly. For years, one of our IT guys who unfortunately passed away, his name was Jeff Easley, awesome dude. He was the last man standing. You can find articles about him where like he was the one who made sure that the game still connected to a server, like a job that dozens, if not hundreds of people had. He was doing it himself so they could keep showing it off to potential buyers. So in theory, there's like some data warehouse somewhere that some build of the game can connect to, but it wasn't done.
Right. Yeah.
So do I understand correctly? Was it the state of Rhode Island that brokered this deal?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. To a company based where? Somewhere in Europe?
Austria.
Austria, I thought I read Vienna is where they're at, which, sure. Do you think
we'd heard rumors over the years? I remember one that for a while, like that some like Powerball millionaire was going to buy it all. That didn't come true, but yeah.
Why not? You got $300 million.
I mean, that's, you'd probably have just as much expertise in the game business as Kurt Schilling did, right?
Oof.
So at that point.
And way more money.
And way more money.
Now, to his credit, Kurt did a great job of surrounding himself with people who knew what they were doing, not counting myself. But we had a really sharp development team, and the executive team did a good job of staying out of our way and letting us make a game.
Yeah. So I just wonder if THQ Nordic at any point would say, like, oh, well, if we want to do something with this, we probably need some of the people that were like at least some of the people who were there. So I just wonder if there would ever be a situation where some of those people might find themselves with job offers or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, or like a consulting gig for sure.
Right.
Like I know people have had, I don't know if anyone has talked to THQ Nordic, but I know of when the rumors floated over the last 6 years, various people will be like, oh, I'm talking to a person. Oh, I'm talking to a person. Like no one needs me unless they like need someone to tell them who to talk to, like as a producer. I'm not like, oh yeah, that's the button you push to make the game go.
Produce these conversations.
Yeah, I could do that part for a second, but like part of me wanted someone to buy it just to like put it out as an executable where you could just walk through the world, because it was such a gorgeous environment. And I tweeted some of the environmental fly-throughs that we made back in the day, and the art holds up enough where like it seems usable.
I look at what THQ Nordic has been up to the last year or so and wonder which piece of this actually was the goal for them, because they put out that Red Faction Guerrilla remaster. They've remastered the Darksiders games. Like I wonder if they were more interested in Reckoning here because they can remaster that and put it out because it's a finished game, and it just made sense to pick up all those assets as a package deal.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, if that were the case, would you devote a paragraph of your press release to we got to talk to EA? Like, that seems like something they would have like done as part of like due diligence or as part of like the process. But maybe it was such a deal. Maybe they're like, whatever, $900K for an established IP.
Is that confirmed? Do we know? Because
yes, so that's in the newspaper.
Okay. When I read about it, it said that the terms of the deal had not been out there, but sounds like they got it kind of for a song.
Maybe they're looking at it as like, hey, if we can just do the deal with EA to get Reckoning free and clear from them and put it out as a remaster or something like that, we can make that money back. Maybe that's their whole gamble.
It could be a publishing thing, or it could be something as obscure as like, Origin was tied into Reckoning, and they need help pulling that out to make the game playable.
Right? Yeah. Maybe it isn't. Maybe EA doesn't even have publishing rights anymore. Maybe it is just some weird. Maybe the reason they need to connect with them is not as clear as maybe I think it is.
Yeah, because they didn't have the rights to the sequel. I mean, I remember that was one of the things we were trying to like in the craziness, and that could be a whole hour or week of all the stuff that I remember from back then. But we were trying to get a deal for the sequel with another company that was almost done, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe they'll just get in touch with whoever bought all those Pirates of the Caribbean assets and just mash everything together and make the ultimate MMO.
Just throw
we
it
had
all
pirates already. We had pirate dwarfs.
Wow.
Pirate dwarfs. They were great. The Diverga.
Rich, before we let you go, how's life?
Life's pretty good. I don't have a job right now. It's kind of nice.
All right. What are your days looking like?
Playing a lot of Call of Duty.
It used to be God of War 4 actually. A lot of God of War 4. Look forward to my paragraph in that in my Game of the Year 2018.
Great.
But I'm talking to folks in the area, as you guys know. At least the two of you I'm talking to right now. My family's here, so I'm not moving anywhere. And there's not a lot of video game studios in the Boston area, but there's some fun glimmers.
I hear Vienna is popping.
I'd fly out for a week.
How do you feel about canals?
Share some Rolodex. That's Venice, I believe.
Oh God, you're right. You're totally right. Yeah. Well,
but I mean separately. How do you feel about canals?
Vienna's the one from XXX where the guy did the stuff.
God, you're right.
At the end of it.
Right.
Yes, that is the cultural touchstone.
Yeah. When you think Vienna,
to call to mind about Vienna for sure.
Yeah, I lost my job this summer, and it was a real interesting time that I'm not allowed to talk about. But next time I see you guys, maybe I'll share some details. But it was an interesting confluence of opinions I had expressed back at GameSpot coming to life in my job, which I guess is cryptic enough, but I'll leave it at that. But it was
okay.
I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to making some more games. And if that doesn't work out, I'm looking forward to hanging out with my kids and playing a bunch of video games.
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds even better.
It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for lending your expert commentary to this story.
No problem. I'm going to try risking crossing over the border into Rhode Island. I want one of those cabinets, coffee milkshakes.
All right, you're gonna need to falsify a Rhode Island ID for that, and we wish you the best.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right,
Godspeed to you.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. With that, on to the other news. Tokyo Game Show, I believe, is imminent. I don't think the actual show floor.
10 days away.
Oh, is it that far out?
Yeah, I was wrong. We were talking about this yesterday because there was a bunch of announcements, and I was like, I guess TGS is happening.
Right, like Sony did their presentation already.
And it was like, oh no, they've started
their
having
pre-show.
Yeah, they've started being announcements way ahead of the show now for the past little bit here. So there was just kind of a flurry of game announcements and updates hitting yesterday, day before.
I think inarguably the big one is Project Judge.
Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely. It's definitely up there.
Well, I could see you guys making a case.
I would make a case for one Samurai Shodown. But yes, Project Judge looks fucking crazy and really cool.
Well, you guys outnumber me on Samurai Shodown, so talk about it.
It looks amazing. It looks like what Street Fighter 4 was.
Yeah, that same kind of ink.
That Sumie's like art brush style.
Actually, let me ask real fast: was this a brand new announcement? Did anybody know there was a new Samurai Shodown for PS4?
I think there was a pending. We knew that there was a pending thing from SNK on the books.
That's right. They had been teasing a game announcement.
Yeah, and so
they
announced it as Samurai Spirits, and then sent out a press release confirming, hey, it's called Samurai Showdown in the U.S. And you're like, no, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a quick trailer. It's got Galford in it. It's got
Hey,
that Sumie, that ink style. I think works really well.
Yeah, it totally does. And I think it's the same art director from Street Fighter 4 that's working on this.
Oh, really? Sure.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay, then.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of similarities both on the character models and like the art flourishes. And
I like
such.
the look of the models a lot. Like I have not been a huge fan of I'd say the last couple of King of Fighters games. I stuck with them.
So these are 3D models. You know, there's like little 2.5D. Like you're seeing a lot of like fly around type things when there's a big slash or something like that, or like a finishing slash. The camera kind of goes askew when you see the
supers,
like a 3D
finishers.
perspective.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it's a trailer, so it's hard to maybe know how that'll.
I want to say like a third of that is just like just like pretense. Like they're talking about the what Edo period they're in. I have no idea about Japanese culture, but or history. But the game looks real fucking good. I mean, it looks like solid Samurai Shodown gameplay. That was always like a very, very heavy hitting game.
Yeah.
I think the first move that they show off is Haomaru's like standing hard attack, and it's just like there's a lot of hit stop to it, a lot of weight to it. So it looks like they're gonna keep that stuff intact. And then they've got supers as well. What you call it, like weapon flipping
rage
techniques? Rage arts.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen whether or not it's going to be like a slash burst kind of thing. Like you get to choose two different.
Yeah, that stuff when they put in the later. I guess it was just in 5 and 5 special. It wasn't in 4. Maybe it was, but like that stuff.
What's interesting here is there's two different like art tones. There's like a sepia tone, and then there's like a blue tone for the specials or the supers, as it were. So yeah, I've no idea. That's just speculation at this point.
Yeah, and the press release they put out has like 0 information. It's just like, hey, this game's come out in 2019.
I just double checked the trailer. They don't list a developer either. I don't know if does SNK have development teams?
Yeah,
like who's been handling King of Fighters? Like, is there?
Yeah, they've been handling it.
Okay,
like they did that SNK Heroines game that we did not talk about.
Right,
but
that was intentional.
Let's say it's bad and move on. And then NIS published it here, but I think they did the work on that. So I don't know. I would assume that they've got their own studio and their own teams working on it.
Yeah. In this picture of Haomaru I'm looking at here, he has very big hair.
Yeah, he always did.
Very big hair.
Yeah.
Yep. That's faithful. That's canon.
Yeah.
Big ass hair.
People. I mean, you guys and people on Twitter seem very approving of what they've seen of this so far.
Looks good,
and it seems like a audience that's, I don't want to say difficult to please, but high standards for a new Samurai Shodown.
Sure, it looks good, and it's time. It's time for a good new Samurai Shodown.
Yeah, what was the last
one?
It's
definitely a reboot of sorts. Like it's not numbered.
It's not numbered. It's
They haven't showed. There was one glimpse of like a profile shot landscape where they showed a bunch of characters, and I looked through them all, and they all looked familiar. So I haven't heard or haven't seen anything that's like new characters in there. Just yet. So it looks to be like they're going to reboot this son of a bitch.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
great.
Yeah,
it is time.
It is time. Then we can see how that does, and then
weapon clashes, and
maybe we get into Mark of the Wolves too after that. You got the design. You got people from that game saying like it would be a real shame if we didn't make another one of those ever.
Yeah, true.
Like it seems like they definitely want to do it eventually.
Is that a totally original game?
Mark of the Wolves?
Yeah.
It is.
Is that not just another King of Fighters-esque mashup of...
No, it's its own thing.
It's a totally
it is
thing?
set in the timeline of Fatal Fury.
Yeah. So there's Fatal Fury characters in it.
Yeah.
A few.
But it is, but it's kind of its own... It's almost like a Street Fighter 3 situation where you've got like a couple of characters, but like the timeline is removed in a way that like Terry Bogard has decided to stop wearing his hat. That's
wear a puffy jacket.
What? Yeah. He throws his jacket up in the air. It's fucking nuts. Mark of the Wolves is fucking nuts. That game, that guy butt is great. There are great characters in that game.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Mark of the Wolves.
SNK's making some moves.
Yeah, and they're also put out that Neo Geo Mini thing. It's out in Japan now.
Oh, did it
Sounds
come
like
out?
it fucking sucks, which is unsurprising.
Yeah.
What's bad about it?
It feels awful.
It's got an analog-y kind of like not like the stick is really
it doesn't click.
Mushy. It doesn't
the
click
damn
at
thing
all.
doesn't click.
It's just got a.
It's a kind of a swimmy interface. Like it's laggy at times.
Sounds like the output TV is very blurry and fucked up, and it seems like a bad device.
It was grody.
Maybe just buy that thing and don't hook it up and put it on your shelf.
I'm not even going to
just have a small.
Nothing about that thing seems attractive.
Yeah.
It's not even
the case.
Yeah, it's not even the cabinet that we know. So
Right.
yeah, whatever. As I mentioned right before Samurai Shodown, Sega announced a game called, currently it's called Project Judge. I don't believe that'll be the final title.
Probably not.
But it is from the Yakuza team, and it appears to be some kind of courtroom drama / hard-boiled detective.
Was there courtroom stuff,
noir
or was
kind
it
of
just
thing?
like I saw like private eye stuff, and I saw nunchucks.
So the character is a former attorney,
Okay.
who like kind of disgraced because he. My understanding of the story is that he defended an accused murderer and got him off, and then the person then went on to commit murder again.
Gotcha.
And he has kind of resigned or retired out of shame and gone on to become a private eye.
Using his detective skills
Yes.
and his martial arts skills.
But I read the write-up, and I believe you will be back in the courtroom at points. I believe you're going to be gathering evidence. There is a photographic component to it.
I saw him do the objection point at one point.
Yes, people obviously drawing comparisons to Phoenix Wright.
Fucking A. Like, what if Phoenix Wright was a badass?
Yeah.
Yes.
More of a badass.
But definitely it seems to have kind of the same streetwise vibe as the Yakuza games.
Totally, yeah. Lots of street brawling and stuff. Like I said, he's got the nunchucks.
Yeah.
Messing people up.
Not enough nunchucks in games these days.
I know.
Nunchucks, the favored weapon of kids in the 80s.
Yep. It's time
for making in some kind of wood shop class and hurting themselves.
God, I want a year of the nunchucks.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Anyway, he looks super badass, and it looks to have that same goofy Yakuza tone.
Yes. Sega press release.
I saw the Yakuza tones.
Yeah?
They're pretty good.
I don't know. The new lead singer is just like...
I saw him before that. I can't
good,
vouch for
good,
the
good.
current lineup. But
Okay.
This Sega press release describes the main character as a man of conviction who fights for his beliefs despite the overwhelming despair surrounding him.
Man of conviction is a really shitty turn of phrase to or a really amazing turn of phrase to use in a game about legal proceedings.
Yeah.
But okay.
Game focuses on investigating crime scenes.
Yeah.
I saw him stalking some people, like looking around corners, making sure that the other guy didn't see him.
It looks and sounds kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Also nice to see something from that team that you can just kind of dive into and not worry about, there having been 5 games previously that you missed.
Yeah.
It looks pretty wild. Some other weird stuff coming out of Japan pre-TGS. Not a whole lot yet, but...
God Eater 3 trailer. Weird.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're going to put out Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles again.
Hell yeah.
That was fucking weird.
What?
That's the game with the bucket,
Yep.
right?
That's where you carry the bucket around.
Will they remaster the bucket out of the game?
I hope to God they do.
Yeah.
$200 collector's edition with
Talk about a miasma.
physical bucket included.
Or that's the other option, a physical bucket.
Game ships in the bucket.
With Bluetooth support, and you have to fucking hold the bucket up while you play the game.
Jan, you're a fan?
Big fan. I was on bucket duty on my circle of friends.
Okay.
So that bucket resonates with me.
I think I may have reviewed that game for GameSpot, and I have next to no memory of it. Was the GBA involved?
Yeah.
It was a GameCube game.
Yeah.
And you needed the GBA, right, for the full multiplayer experience?
It was like that Zelda game, but with
Yes.
just controlling it with the GBA.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that game was good or not.
It was okay.
This is a strange re-release. But sure.
It's one they haven't gotten to. I mean,
there will be a small Kingdom Hearts thing in VR, which sounds like more of a tech demo-y thing than yes.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand.
I saw your hand in the air.
Just anything Kingdom Hearts related.
Jen's like, praise it.
Makes you sick.
Praise
Is that what?
Well, anything that's actually coming out.
Okay.
That's true.
Because this versus stuff just being teased.
In theory, I like Kingdom Hearts because I like Disney properties, and they showed off like Big Hero 6 and Rapunzel, and those are both very cool. I want nothing to do with those fucking trench coat dudes, though.
I totally understand.
Oh my god, that shit is just like incomprehensible.
I'm not completely sure that I know
And
all the lore right now.
It keeps me away from like
You just need to understand
trying out the game.
His heart got locked up. There's a
No,
dark.
He has no heart.
no,
Then he has a heart.
I just want to have fun Disney adventures
Xenohort.
with Go-Go and Hero and
Pow
Baymax.
All right.
That's all I want to do.
Disney Infinity is the
I
game
don't
for
want
you.
to fucking hang out with these trench coat dudes.
Yeah.
wear all these silver chains and shit and like talk about heart and
don't trust a guy in a trench coat and silver chains.
Bouncer reject looking motherfuckers.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Just want Baymax.
There was a Nintendo Direct scheduled for last week that was delayed due to a tragic earthquake in Hokkaido. But it seems like a lot of the announcements have leaked out of that Direct anyway.
Or just been made.
Or just got made, I believe. So I guess the Mega Man 11 demo just kind of dropped out of nowhere, which seems like that was going to be timed with the Direct. Okay. So you can play Mega Man 11 now if you like. I guess the biggest one, it's nothing huge, but the biggest one is Civilization 6 is coming to Switch, which, sure.
That sounds pretty cool.
That seems okay. Seems like a decent thing to have on your Switch. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
And that's coming, I think it's out on PS4 and Xbox as well.
Is it?
I believe so, which is like a really weird idea of this Pocket Edition. But I want to say that...
Yeah, it looks like it just came out on PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah.
Cool. That's got a really cool look to it.
So also coming to Switch.
I booted it up on my phone a few times, and it's pretty damn impressive.
Everything I've heard about free-to-play... Well, is this one free-to-play?
Yeah.
Some of the other stuff I've heard about Final Fantasy-wise on the phone sounded kind of rotten.
Oh, I'm sure.
In terms of the...
money making.
Yes.
Yeah.
Transactional model. Anyway, it seemed like people got kind of hyped up about this Direct, and then what has since come out was...
Well, you would assume that Nintendo would have something of their own to show, and maybe they'll reschedule it and show it eventually. But, if that was hey, this Mega Man thing's dropping now, then they definitely would probably have to at least recut it.
Yeah. Yes. So in other Nintendo news, we are... very shortly, this online service of theirs will be dropping. Do we have a date for that?
I have not seen one.
I still don't think they've put one out, right? I think the last they said was just kind of late September.
Yeah. It's getting
check.
close. It is the 11th.
And we're going to need this to play like Splatoon.
Yeah.
You will need it to play existing games. It will have cloud saves for...
Or will it?
Most games.
Yeah, so that's the thing. But yeah, so I just went to the Nintendo Switch Online official site. Still just says launching September 2018.
Okay.
Yo, it's September. It's almost halfway through September.
Oh my God.
Did they say which old games would be hitting? Have they said anything more about that?
As of right now, it says Nintendo Entertainment System and Nintendo Switch Online, which is the full name of that feature.
Ah, yes.
Enjoy 20 NES games with added online play for the first time ever and more games added regularly.
Okay.
Let me click through. There is a separate page.
Oh,
here we go. Okay. Launch titles include, we may have talked about this.
We talked about some of them, I know, but...
Soccer, tennis, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Balloon Fight.
Okay.
Ice Climber.
Right. Yeah.
Dr. Mario.
All right.
The Legend of Zelda.
I've heard of it.
Multiplayer.
So that is, it's like 10 games.
Okay.
Online support.
So there's another 10 to be revealed.
Okay.
They've already sold the arcade version of Donkey Kong on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of, hey, you can play the NES version of Donkey Kong, not super appealing. But I guess as a function of a thing that comes with this service, I feel like they have not really done a great job of, other than going out and trying to make it harder to download free versions of bootleg versions of those games. I feel like they have not done a great job of explaining why anyone would want to sign up for this service.
I mean, if you want to play games online, kind of don't have a choice. I'm not saying you.
Again,
I'm not saying you do.
I don't. Yeah, that's. I've
that's
had my
kind of
time with Splatoon,
Yeah.
and I'm not willing to pay more to continue to play Splatoon.
Right. Yes. Like I should really open that copy of tennis that I bought and play it against some people before I have to then pay to do so.
Like I feel like Nintendo, when it comes to exciting things, look, me personally, it's Animal Crossing. And then when I look at the wider slate, it's like, okay, well, Smash, obviously, you want to have online there, even if most of the scene is going to play it locally and really care about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But as plebes, they're going to be playing it online.
Yeah. And Mario Kart, because that was such a huge game for them previously that like Mario Kart Online matters. But when I look at the rest of that stuff, like that stuff falls by the wayside. I feel like those games had their time. Like no one's gonna go like, I gotta keep playing ARMS. Like it's just not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
So
now there's a Splatoon community, I'm sure.
Yes, totally. And but The most appealing part about it is the price, because you look at it and go like, well, they're not trying to charge $60 a year for it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's less than
Nintendo has never been synonymous with online video games to me, and I don't feel like they've done a better job of that as of late. So
I look at PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold as like video game taxes, like, but they're kind of essential in a lot of ways, whereas Nintendo's
nothing about this feels essential.
nothing. Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that feels essential about it is the cloud save backup, but that's why I bring this up, which is that we have now found out that a variety of games. In fact, pretty much any game that has any kind of significant online component is not going to support cloud saves.
And that's existing games, right? So
no, like upcoming games as well. Like they mentioned Dark Souls Remastered as one, which is coming out after the launch of the service.
So games that are well into development then. So what I'm saying...
No. They are citing the potential for cheating in online games as the reason.
So that's what I'm saying, though, is
if you're saying they may develop around that problem, I don't necessarily have faith in them to do that.
I'm looking at this as like, hey, on a go-forward basis, we will develop this stuff more intelligently to separate that stuff.
I feel
because you have to. If they're not going to do that, then fuck them.
I feel like that's crazy. That's giving them a lot of credit.
Like I could see that being a technical issue that they've run into right now with how their cloud save stuff will work in existing games, where like the decisions about how Dark Souls is going to save and load have already been made. That game's well into development. Whatever.
I mean, listen to this statement they gave to Kotaku. In certain games, this feature would make it possible to, for example, regain items that had been traded to other players or revert to a higher online multiplayer ranking that had been lost. To ensure fair play, saved data cloud backup may not be enabled for such games.
And all that says is that in existing games up to this point, they have stored all that stuff client side, and they need to store it server side.
I hope you're right, but I don't necessarily have
every other platform does that.
But I mean, Nintendo has the worst history of not keeping up with standards.
But developers will be developing these games for multiple platforms and will have solved that issue if they really care about it.
Third-party games, sure.
Yeah, and Nintendo doesn't make enough online games for it to matter, so who cares what they do? This seems like something that they will have solved in future releases. That's my guess, because it's they can store that rank stuff server side if it's something that matters and not have this be an issue. If they fail to do that, then that's just like gong show, like what are you doing type stuff. And I don't think they will. I don't think they will fuck that up long term. It just seems like something. My guess is that this seems like something that is just a reality of this process rolling out on a platform where games already exist. The same way PS3 games used to not have trophies, and then some of them sort of had trophies, and then they all had trophies.
Yeah, but given the potential for your Switch to get broken or lost or stolen, like it's a way more egregious problem.
Sure.
Like I know 2 people who have lost their Switches in the last month.
Yeah, but like
who just lost like hundreds of hours of stuff.
And that's a bummer for Dark Souls specifically, and the rest, like, what's the other one? Is it just Splatoon?
Splatoon, Dark Souls, FIFA 19. Those are the ones that are listed. I mean, you could probably assume ARMS is maybe in that group.
I would have to presume that FIFA is, if it's going to do the Ultimate Team stuff, that stuff will be stored on EA's servers, and so you logging in will still connect to a thing, and you wouldn't necessarily. So what I'm saying is, like, if you lose your Switch, do you really care about those saves? Dark Souls maybe is the one that I look at and go like, oh yeah, you would certainly not want to lose that save.
I mean, I haven't played enough Splatoon 2 to say, but sounds like there's a lot
losing your rank of Splatoon and the unlocks would be a bummer.
A lot of unlocks.
That maybe is is an unfortunate
in Splatoon
case. You're right. That one would be unfortunate, but I could see this being a side effect of them bolting this system onto a platform that is already off and running. And whatever. Maybe we'll check back in a year and I'll be completely wrong and there'll still be plenty of games that don't do this, in which case I'll be like, that's fucking dumb. They really fucked this up.
Well, Smash is out in December, so I think we'll find out faster than that.
Yeah.
Like, if they haven't fixed it in time for Smash, then that's very concerning. Again, like the feature set for this thing is pretty thin to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So but then the feature set for their online games has been pretty thin too. So, like, Smash rankings. Like, is there a ranked level that they would have in that game? Maybe, because like I'm trying to think what you would cheat.
That you could train.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think like how you would cheat in Smash. Like, what are you cheating to gain? Like, if you lose a rank and maybe get that rank back. If they're doing weird things with unlockables, where like, oh, you unlocked a special skin because you're a high ranked player, but you lose it if you're a low rank player, which I don't think they would do.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see this being a long-term issue. This seems like a problem with the existing software lineup that they eventually are planning around.
Let's hope. I'm not necessarily going to give them that much benefit of the doubt, but we will see.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you.
They have not done a great job.
Their track record on this thing is spotty at best. Anyway, that's it for the news. Not much going on this week besides a bunch of games coming out. So that takes us into the emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. First email comes in from Matt in Arizona. The discussion of Windjammers 2 and Streets of Rage 4 got me thinking about a different game altogether. A game celebrating its 10th anniversary this November. That means it's as good a time as any to revisit your feelings on Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix.
Raise a glass.
Was it a reverent update of, science pending,
Yes, it was.
possibly one of the best fighting games of all time? Or was it an aesthetic misjudgment whose slavishness to the original's mechanics left it short on both visual contrast and readability and animation fluidity? Or do you not care because you'd rather be playing hyperfighting?
God bless that game.
Yeah?
God bless that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very faithful.
I did not like the new art.
The Udon art, man. Oh no, I thought it was very, very good.
Well, it
was
created
frame
like
specific.
he alludes to it. It's that jarring feeling of like updated art, but obviously the frames need to be the frames.
Right.
And I think that's the right move.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say like, hey, they should add a bunch of frames because that'd fuck up a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but
they did not add a bunch of frames.
Yeah.
So they kept it, very specific and very faithful, I think. And I did like the new art quite a bit, actually. It was a great job of bringing that game back to good online support and stuff. And yeah, shit. The music remix.
What do you think because it's HD remix, like they did some balance work too, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of that stuff is kind of above my head.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to it, but it was still like
it seemed like it was.
super
It
fun
seemed
to
like it
play.
was well liked by the people that do care about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was an extremely faithful port, and it was well received.
And they worked so hard on that art.
Yeah.
And those achievement icons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those especially.
That's the best part.
Dude, I flipped out when Drew Scanlon worked on that game.
Yes.
He did some of that.
I think he did a bunch of sprite cleanup.
Yeah, something like that.
art
But
too.
I would use that game for like testing levels, for audio and stuff because it was always pumping and shit. And I just knew what those levels were. So I'd fire it up all the time. And one time Drew went in there and he went into the credits section and he set it to like show his name and made sure that I saw
Like,
it.
hey, check this out.
Yeah. I'm like, what? You worked on this game?
Pretty good claim to fame.
Yep.
Michael from San Marcos. With the untimely passing of Burt Reynolds, I began to think about what I most distinctly remembered him for. As it turned out, it was his surprise cameo in Saints Row III.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm old enough to remember him for his movie roles, but this character was great and unexpected, as I thought his appearance was appropriate and well portrayed. So my question for you is this. What are the crew members' favorite surprise celebrity cameos in a game and why?
I thought that was they did that one really well.
Yep.
That was a good, funny way to use Burt Reynolds.
And they didn't hype it up, right? Like they didn't promote the game as like, hey, Burt Reynolds is in this.
So it was a good, like the players, the characters' reaction to, holy shit, it's Burt Reynolds. Like that stuff was pretty funny. Yeah.
I can't think of any others right now.
Wasn't a surprise, but Keith David in Saints Row was also great.
Yeah, sure.
Totally.
I liked Samuel L. Jackson in San Andreas a lot.
It was fun, like, because they never marketed
that's
the
what
GTA
I mean.
games on the basis of the cast.
That's
So
what I
like
mean,
going through those games, when you first got them, you're like, who'd they get to do voices? Like,
Well,
there
doubly
was a
so
lot of-
because we got him in early.
Right.
So we were finding out before anybody
it's
else.
like, oh, David Cross is in San Andreas. It's crazy.
Ooh, Danny Tamborelli in the last GTA. The guy from Pete and Pete was
okay. All right.
your son.
That's a good deep cut.
Yeah.
Wait,
wow,
the,
okay.
The shitty asshole son?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, which Pete?
Younger Pete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
He has
Man.
an okay band.
Wow.
Hmm.
I had no idea. That's wild. Let's see. Myko from Northwood, New Hampshire. Is having video games in the bedroom a bad idea? My video game systems are in the bedroom mostly to keep my kids away from them. They are small and destructive. but I also find myself not playing as much as when I'm watching TV in bed or even actively playing games at night. I quickly become a very sleepy boy. Also, sitting up in bed kind of sucks. Any suggestions? Roll a chair into the bedroom, move it all together. Limited on space, but any suggestions will help.
It's good that he's still sleepy when he sits in the bed. Because, I mean, you train yourself, right? You know, if you bring a TV in there and you need the TV to fall asleep, or if you bring the video games in there and you got to play those, you're like training yourself to like stay awake in bed. That's no bueno.
I never had an issue. I used to play all my games sitting on the edge of a bed, and it was never a problem. But yeah, I see what you're getting at.
I would say, it's recommended that you keep that shit out of the bedroom. But, you know.
We have fully embraced that lifestyle, and it is the way to go.
Yeah. Bring a chair in there. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Maybe your own personal chair.
Yeah.
Man,
I started to say put it all somewhere else, but he's limited on space.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What are you going to do?
Those friggin' kids, man. They get into everything.
Yeah.
Put the kids in another room.
Yeah, seriously. Teach them boundaries. Don't touch that.
Don't touch the video games. They're bad for you.
Let's see here.
Man, Griffin had like specific suits that he wanted me to wear at specific times in Spider-Man.
Nice.
He was very picky about that.
Adam from Denver. If you could give any character from any video game their own spin-off, who would it be and how would it play? I don't mean something like a Mario Party where it's still the main characters doing something different. I'm thinking more along the lines of freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, where Tingle stars in his own game with no connection to the Zelda series. Follow-up, is Super Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong Country the spin-off series from the original Donkey Kong?
What? I don't get that last one.
Both. I mean, to answer that. The Garrus game we always talk about, the Garrus Private Eye thing. I mean, like, I don't know that I want it anymore because, like, I just don't necessarily believe in that there's a team that would do it justice. But
they've got their hands full.
They should take Ken from Street Fighter and make it like a platforming game.
Oh yeah, what would that be like?
Would you shoot like put it way in the future or something like that, so it's realistic?
Maybe give him like a robot hand or something.
Exactly.
Oh wow,
robot hand. He can shoot like lasers and shit.
Can we name the character Kevin in other territories?
That's a weird request, but sure.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. If that's important to your creative vision,
I need this for me.
Okay.
It's the only way I can finish the game.
I see. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Manny, also from Denver. With everyone currently in love with Spider-Man's fun city traversal and charm, it got me thinking about another game, Sunset Overdrive. I feel like this game has been forgotten because it got caught up in the shitstorm of the Xbox One launch. I'd even go as far as to say it's a spiritual successor and evolution of the Jet Set Radio series. Both are about stylish youths fluidly moving around their environments while fighting the man. Point is, Sunset Overdrive is a good game that has been left by the wayside.
It's a pretty good game.
I feel like I don't know anybody that liked that game besides me. So I'm totally with this guy.
I really wanted to like it, but I just found it really tedious. Over time.
Like I thought the traversal was fun, but anytime that you mix combat with that fun traversal it
didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work for me.
There's a lot of dad humor in that game that you had to be okay with. It was very earnest, even when it didn't land. So there was that.
Yeah, they were trying pretty hard.
But yeah, like Spider-Man totally does feel like made in that vein, basically. Like they got a lot of experience about getting around a city fast.
Yeah, that seems like one of those games that, like, hey, this deal probably happened in part because they had an expertise in this stuff from games like Sunset Overdrive.
I mean, that game was mostly grinding. That was kind of the core
of
the traversal was grinding on rails and stuff, but they proved they could do it. Maybe they had some tech lying around that was useful in developing the swinging and stuff. Let's see. Levi writes in, very rarely does an online shooter capture my interest. I've passed up Fortnite, PUBG, Calls of Duty, and will occasionally empty a clip into Battlefield here and there. But Firewall 0 Hour, while being very unfortunately named, has kind of overtaken my life since release. Online VR team-based shooter would never be a genre of game I could possibly fathom holding my attention, but myself and everyone else I seem to match with in Firewall can't stop singing the game's praises. Have any of you had the chance to play this hidden gem and potential unlocker for more mass VR adoption? you think it's too late to reinvigorate VR, or has it been relegated to the fringe corners of gaming?
No, VR is still it's like VR is still finding applications outside of gaming where it's like huge for like construction, you know, like all these other markets, and that is going to help drive, like that, and gaming will help drive innovation and more hardware and better hardware and all this sort of stuff to eventually get there. It's
and
not
adoption too.
Yeah, it's not too late or anything, and no one game is going to make VR happen. It's just it's going to be a slow burn for I think that industry, but it ain't going nowhere. I played some Firewall Zero Hour. This is another, like, I feel like every PlayStation VR story has been the same for me, where I went to a lot of demo events and said, this works fine, and then got it home and went, this doesn't work at all. Like, I have since bought my own PSVR headset and set it up, and we've tried multiple headsets in different locations and all this stuff, and it's always just been a tracking nightmare.
You've got one of the newer ones, right?
Yeah, because I have one of the
after the redesign,
the pass-through stuff to be 4K or whatever. Yeah,
right.
Are there just specific SKUs out there that have those newer models?
I would.
Yes. Probably most of the hardware out there these days are probably going to be mostly the newer ones.
Hasn't it been like
the Skyrim bundle was one of the first ones that I think you could guarantee.
I want to say it's been almost a year since that new model came out.
Interesting.
So
yeah. Anyway, I think that game is pretty well made. It's like a 4v4 round-based team shooter. You know, like one team defending a laptop to prevent people from hacking it to win the round. But a lot of the stuff around it in terms of unlocks and in terms of load times, getting into and out of matches, match length and stuff like that is really weirdly, like, it just seems like after every round you are kicked all the way back out to a lobby and you're like, all right, let's get back in, wait a full minute. And that sucks.
Also, you can't look at your phone when you're in VR.
Right. Yeah. You're kind of locked in and staring it around this lobby area, and that's a bummer. So I think there's some changes that should happen around the edges of that stuff to just make the experience better. But when that game is working and working well and all that stuff, it's really fun. You know, you aim the weapons properly, and so it's got that feeling
with your hands
of I'm taking cover. Yeah, it's.
Are you like ducking behind stuff to not get shot?
There's a crouch button, so it has like a lot of the stuff you would use also. But yeah, you can physically duck behind a thing. And I tried playing it with a regular controller because every time I demoed it, they had the gun rig, the whatever they call that thing, set up, aim controller. And so I got home and didn't have one of those handy, so I tried it with a regular DualShock 4, and it was like it was a thing where, you know, you move the controller around to aim, and if you get the controller too far out, your character will take one hand off of the rifle and just be out there one-handing it, which is fine for shooting, but the reload button doesn't do anything unless both hands are on the gun. So I would have to pull, and even to just aim down sights and line up the reticle and stuff, I found myself having to like pull the controller very close to my chest in a hyper uncomfortable way to play and aim properly in a way that was just like, this is a terrible experience. So it seems like that aim controller is really the right way to play it, but I have not tried it with that since it was fully released. So I'm gonna play some more of it with that. We'll shoot some video of it eventually. I think it's well done, but also I still have those same, like, all the way back to launch, multiple locations, multiple lighting settings, multiple pieces of hardware. It's even a different PlayStation 4 at this point. Like, everything has been swapped out.
Maybe you should get a new house.
But we did it. It happened here too. Yeah, and so playing that game and aiming and trying to aim, and then you just see the controller just moving like 3 inches back and forth, and like trying to aim this gun that is just like it's like, fuck this. Like, what is? I don't get what the deal is with PlayStation VR and that specific issue. Every time it comes up, I hear from people who have similar issues and hear from plenty of people who do not.
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't know.
Same.
It's frustrating because, like, I would love to play more Firewall and got it home thinking like, well, you know, I've changed out everything. Clearly this issue will be a thing of the past. They've had time to update firmware, whatever. I bet it's way better. No, exactly the fucking same.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck? It's maddening. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think the game's well made, but it's you know, I'd say maybe it's like slightly light on content and modes and stuff like that, and the in and out from game to game is too long.
Yeah, it's not the first time that I've heard people, you know, give really good anecdotes as far as like, you know, this is the game that's kind of made them come around on on VR.
I think it'll be a different
been really
thing for
interesting.
different people depending on what
totally
what they're into and stuff. But
So-
yeah, it's
Especially because the game, from what I've read, sounds on paper just like
Yeah.
kind of a standard military
totally,
shooter.
It's a Counter-Strike-y
like if
kind
it-
of deal.
Like if it
It's
wasn't
not,
in VR, it would be completely unremarkable.
Exactly.
But because it's in
Yeah.
VR and you've got the tactile experience of
Yeah.
handling a gun and ducking
that's fun,
and stuff.
especially
And
if
the
you've never done
team-based
that
stuff
before.
sounds
You know,
cool.
like and on PlayStation VR specifically, there are not a ton of games that have done that.
Yeah.
On the PC, you'll find a few more experiences that are trying to be like, hey, here's moving and handling a gun and taking cover and all this sort of stuff. So, so it may also be a case of like, yeah, no one's really done that on PlayStation VR quite that way before, helping, but it does seem well made for what it is.
Yeah. We will take a look at it soon. Steven from Pasadena, California. I recently learned about the existence of Sonic Extreme, a canceled game for the Sega Saturn intended to be the first 3D entry in the Sonic series. Extreme was developed with 2 different game engines. The main stage portions featured a fisheye camera system with level environments rotating around Sonic, while the boss stages would be in a more traditional open 3D environment. The game footage looks super interesting, but it was such a radical departure for the series that I wonder how Sonic fans would have reacted if it was actually released. Sega demoed Sonic Extreme at E3 1996, so I was wondering if Jeff recalls playing the game. What were your initial impressions, and what was the general reaction to it on the show floor?
I don't remember actually playing it, but you know, like footage has gotten out. I want to say that even
Yeah, he links to a YouTube video in this. Like
Yeah,
you can find video of it.
there's plenty of video of it out there, and I don't know if a build leaked or not. I'm not sure. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's just like someone who developed it.
This was made for the Saturn, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it looks like shit.
Really?
Okay.
I thought it was a really interesting
Yeah.
concept.
Like the concept is like I don't
like
know
this
that it
doesn't
would've
look like
been-
a Sonic game at all.
Yeah, you look
but
at it, you understand why Sega might have killed it.
Yeah.
You're looking at it, go like, oh, that doesn't seem to be capitalizing on the things you know as Sonic very well. Not that like Sonic Jam did either, or Sonic R. I mean, it's Sonic R, whatever. It's a racing game.
Yeah.
At least it's fast.
But I thought it was cool. Like it's platforming inside of a big sphere.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. No.
There are claims out there that it has been leaked. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know for
How
sure.
accurate some of
I
this
have not
stuff is?
kept up on
It
it.
looked
but-
very early.
Yes,
Like,
this
it looked
does.
yeah,
super
the
rough.
stuff that's out there, and then you know you have people trying to recreate it from the
Yes.
footage and fan projects like that happening.
Yeah,
Because,
that's why it's hard to parse all the leak stuff, because there are
Yeah,
also people out there
exactly.
trying to remake
if,
it.
If the Sonic community is good for one thing, it's starting up yet another fan game to try to
sometimes it-
recapture some small aspect of Sonic lore.
Sometimes
or
it
something.
really pays off.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
they,
you're
when
right.
They, when,
Yes.
when those people then go on
Yeah,
and make the most
you're right.
authentic Sonic game in like 2 decades.
There it is, the Kid Rock of Sonic the Hedgehog games.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Let's see. Luke from Omaha. These are more theoretical questions, as the industry appears to be going in a different direction, but going off the basis that a $60 price point for a AAA game is not enough, what game would be the first to charge more than $60, and how much would that game cost? My theory is that a Bethesda game could get away with charging more than $60 for the base game, probably even charging $70, and not lose a lot of sales.
Everybody's doing that now. They're selling season passes.
Well,
they're
but
selling
you know,
early
he's talking
access.
He's
I
talking
know.
about just straight sticker on the box.
Yeah, I know. But I think there's enough instances of that to where it's making up the difference.
I think that any sufficiently big and mainstream game could probably get away with it.
Yeah.
Probably
You know,
like-
because a lot of these games are issuing multiple versions anyway and enticing players to, you know, if we look at what's actually happening in terms of like, oh, well, I should get this mid-tier version because it comes with some bonus shit and the season pass all built right in.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily need to go all the way and get the expensive, crazy version because that just comes with another gun skin and some stickers I don't want or whatever. Like, I think that any sufficiently established mainstream franchise could have been the game to kick off a move to $70.
Sure.
Mhm.
The next Rockstar release, the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, actually, if you wanted like a best case scenario of, or if the number one case of a company that could get away with it, it'd be Red Dead.
Yeah.
Right now, that'd be the game.
I mean, I look at the last few purchases that I've made, and they've all been, you know, the deluxe
Right.
edition.
Yeah.
Like I've paid $10, $20 more for probably the last few games that I bought.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
it's out there now.
Yeah. So, but in terms of just like making the move to that price, who would kick the door down first? I could see. Yeah, Red Dead would be, or at least you could probably like figure out a way for them to make the case business wise as to why it needs to be $70. I think you have, because like right now today there are people saying like, oh man, Spider-Man's 15 hours, fuck that, I'm not buying that for $60. Sony games go on sale, pretty fast anyway, so I'm gonna wait. I look at that and go like, it seems like there's a lot more to that game than just the mainline story playthrough. Mm-hmm. Like you would inherently want to spend more than 12 to 15 hours with it. And so I don't necessarily have a value issue with Spider-Man.
Oh, not at all. No, that seems like a weird case to get hung up on.
But also, how many hours is the Destiny Forsaken DLC that is $40 at its lowest level?
I had definitely thought about that in that case. What would you say that campaign is? Like 8 to 12 hours,
sure,
depending on how much?
It is similar in length to a mainline Spider-Man playthrough.
Yeah.
It's for whatever that's worth.
For kind of the start to finish story stuff.
And I think we're kind of getting beyond, or I think different people, there's still some people hung up on that, and I think they have a good reason to be, but I think by and large, the value conversation, dollars to hours, I think has died in a lot of around with a lot of people that are fans of video games. But whatever, man. Like if you're on a limited income and you can only buy one game, you're gonna want to buy the one that's gonna tide you over the longest until you can afford the next one.
Yeah, of course.
And I understand that mentality. I've lived that mentality when I was a kid. Like I know exactly how that feels when you buy a game and finish it and go, man, I fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
So I get it. But yeah, I don't know.
Also the alternatives for like, a bunch of video stores in town that'll let you rent a game for $5 or friends with discs you can borrow or cartridges because everybody's buying digital now.
Yeah.
Like those opportunities to play games on the cheap are not there anymore.
You get your Red Box and that sort of shit.
That stuff.
You can always sign up for a mail order service or whatever.
I feel like that stuff is even on the wane from what I've heard.
Yeah, it seems like physical media as a whole is just like, like we won't be able to completely stamp it out until everyone has great internet. And doesn't seem like everyone's getting great internet anytime soon in this country, so
probably not. I was thinking about that with Forsaken because, like, can you say that Forsaken has, like, say 2/3 of the new levels or whatever of the original Destiny? Like, hell no, like not even close.
No, yeah. It's got like at least it's got new enemies. They've sold DLC previously that didn't have anything technically new about it other than the set dressing around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, value conversations are hard and only getting harder as games diversify. The expectations for $60 games have definitely changed. For live games, like think about the free content that Ubisoft has brought to some of their games over time.
Yeah.
In the concept of doing a live game and all that, like it's crazy.
Yep.
But also on the other end, you've got games that are just like, well, we're $20 and you're going to play it for 2 hours and that's it. And that's the experience. And so like everything is there. There's such a wide variety from types of games that like the old conversation, the old value score we used to try to slap on reviews back when GameSpot had component scores. That shit's fucking crazy.
It's impossible now.
Like imagine if we were still reviewing games that way, and still trying to assign a value score to something, and trying to take the price into account a certain amount or replayability or something like that. Like it's just it's a dumb. There's no one size fits. There's games that are too different now. Can't do it.
I'm trying to figure out how much did Inside launch at? Was it 15? That's hard to find at this point. But I was gonna say, like, I believe Stardew Valley and Inside, for instance, are like the same price when they came out.
Sure, for all intents and purposes, like what are they? Maybe $5 apart, if that.
Inside is more actually.
Okay.
From it looks like Stardew is 15 now. Maybe it was more at launch, but point being, one of those games is 2 hours. The other one is like dozens of hours, depending on how you want to play it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, that conversation is basically impossible to have at this point.
Fortnite is free.
Yeah. That's what that reinforces the point. Like, it's impossible to parse this stuff.
It's also like those old conversations are so broken. And so like I get people want the most bang for their buck if they're on limited income. They don't want to buy short games. They don't want to buy games that are not going to be replayable for them. Like, they're buying games for kids. They're just like, I need this kid to shut up for X number of hours or this money's not worth it. Like all that stuff is totally valid.
Yeah.
and I get it, but like, it's on some level, it's become a pretty ridiculous conversation with just how games have changed.
Nate in Lincoln, Nebraska. Recently, I was reading an old Reddit thread from 2013 where people were trying to predict what the next 5 years in the game industry would look like. A recurring sentiment was that if the Wii U didn't take off, Nintendo would drop out of hardware and just work in the software space.
Yeah.
Obviously,
nailed it.
Obviously, that didn't happen, but do you think if the Switch failed, Nintendo was prepared to go down that road? Was having Ubisoft helm a game with a gun-toting Mario a step in that direction? Was there continued support of the 3DS and insurance policy?
No and yes.
I feel like that's not the first time that narrative has come about, because it was the exact same thing after the GameCube.
Sure.
Like I remember distinctly at GameSpot, like the word that was just the
the
attitude around the office was, "Ooh, this thing did not do it for them.
Right.
Like they had better get it together next time."
Yeah,
and
but
then,
it
the
was
Wii
like,
came out and changed everything.
And that was the thing. It wasn't like, oh, I guess they're done. It was like they better get it the next time, or
Like I feel like we've gone through this pattern multiple times with them of like, okay, the next one had better do it, or they're in trouble.
Yeah, they've been,
and then the next one always does it.
I guess they've been somewhat uneven with hardware, you could say, over the years. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe they would have just gone into mobile because that's where the money is, and especially in Japan. You know, they've definitely moved in that direction a little bit. Like, would Nintendo be making PlayStation 4 games? Like, I don't know. Would they have sold to Microsoft? You know, there's a ton of different scenarios. You know, would they have doubled down and tried to be like, oh, we're going to buy Sega so that we have more IP to work with on our next hardware platform, and this is the last ditch effort? You know, there's a lot of different directions that a company like that could go in.
Sure.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird when you ponder it, but then again, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, all those conversations, you know, everyone has talked to everyone at one point or another about like, well, maybe we buy you, you know, and they either get laughed off the phone or the numbers never line up, or, you know, but like, don't assume for a moment that conversations like that didn't at least happen in one sort of, even in a passive, just like, hey, we want to get together and explore, and maybe this makes sense.
Right. Like, nothing is sacred.
Everyone talks to everyone.
Yes.
Everyone's got a price for the $1 million video game
what's
platform holder.
What's the price?
It's to be determined.
Just everybody's got one.
Yeah.
You want to talk about vMix for a second?
I'd love to.
Mike from Florida. I know this is a bit inside baseball, but hopefully it gets squeezed in. I'm building a streaming box for a multicam stage environment. Jason already helped me track down your streaming PC build as a template to launch from, and now I'm deciding between Livestream Studio and vMix as my software switcher. Would you mind taking a moment to share your experience with vMix?
Yeah.
He's got some follow-up questions, but I think you can probably just sort of address it all very
vMix
quickly.
is the software, like a solution to like a TriCaster. TriCaster, you know, which we'd been using for years and years, but basically kind of capped out at like 720 or 1080i. And we needed some way of doing 1080p because that's where the games were, man.
I was about to say it's what the kids want, but it's what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So
now they want 4 times that.
We needed a solution to that. NewTek, who does TriCaster, was not doing it at the time, so we decided to try and build something ourselves. I had really, really bad experiences with software-based solutions, but I decided to give vMix a shot. You know, they had a free trial and whatnot, and it played well with all of our existing like capture cards, and it did everything that we needed it to do. It was a little bit like learning Linux. You know, as far as like, you know, everybody's who's in production kind of knows, you know, how to work a TriCaster. This has a lot of the similar functionality. It's just like it's
just different enough.
It's just different enough.
A little more arcane.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's still just as powerful.
Like you need some guy with a big gray beard around to ask questions occasionally.
Yeah, so there was a lot of me banging my head against this, and I remember we were actually running parallel. We were running a vMix setup and a TriCaster setup, like a 720 and a 1080 at the same time, just to be safe. And god damn, I wanted to punch him, but Drew, just like in a shit or get off the pot moment, yanked the cables from the TriCaster, and it's like we're solid vMix now. And then I sweated it out for days afterwards, but it all worked out.
Yeah.
And it's been very, very stable for us. We've had a couple crashes here and there, but it's held up even better than, like we've had tons of crashes with the TriCaster as well. It's just different problems, different quirks. But as far as like a software-based solution, it's super stable, and more so than like your XSplit or your OBS or something like that, which is extremely popular with like solo streamers. vMix is the shit. Like we outfitted the main studio with it. We brought it into the podcast studio here. We use it at E3 now as well because we just have to cart around a tower, instead of a big TriCaster unit. So, and you can use mini devices for switching and stuff, so we don't have to bring out the huge control panel.
This control panel you have over here, though, none of the buttons are labeled.
No.
How do you even know?
It's all in here, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's all in here.
Because I look at it and go like, these buttons look really fun to push and they light up and that looks cool as hell, but none of them are fucking labeled.
I mean, there's keyboards out there that don't have any lettering on them.
But that's a keyboard.
That's a keyboard. That's true. So we just kind of keep it in our head. But we've got labels that we could put on those. But
because I assume like there's like a standard layout, but you probably lay it out based on how you use it, right? This control surface. And so I'm looking at Jan with his hands on it right now, just looking at it going, man, that looks fun as hell. And it scares the shit out of me too.
I like that the GameSpot crew gave us this one because they weren't going to use it. Because I was originally using this little guy. Switching with all the cameras and stuff, and I get confused with my own layouts. But then having more keys here definitely helps out. I've enjoyed my time with vMix.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Like a lot of the shortcomings that I initially had a problem with, I've found a workaround using NDI. NDI has been great. Don't have to run as many cables and stuff, and can do more dumb stuff.
We can do layers on layers. Like we can make a composition shot, of like fucking 10 different cameras, right? And then add that as like one single item to like another shot. Right. It's super flexible.
You guys are doing some heavy kind of graphics work and video work.
Sometimes,
it's been fun.
Some elaborate stuff coming out of there.
It takes a while to set the shit up, but like it works. I'm really happy with the changes that we've made. It's helped us a lot, and like we do all of our recordings like directly in vMix as well. Yeah, so I can't.
And then some of it spits out to the Pearl, right? Is that
for streaming and stuff. Yeah, that goes to a separate encoder. But there was a time before we got the Pearl that we were using vMix, and it was shooting out 3 different streams, different resolutions and stuff, and it was barely hitting the CPU.
I feel like I've heard the name Pearl cursed more than once.
Definitely
around here.
That thing. If you
the hitch, I've struggled with that guy. The walls melting issue that we get in the podcast room here sometimes.
The random interlacing that happens.
Yeah.
Reboot the Pearl.
Reboot the Pearl. Like
can't reboot the Pearl. We're in the middle of a fucking stream.
And I've talked to Epiphan about it, with their tech support, sent them files and shit. It's just like nobody can figure out what's going on with it. But anyway, that's different. But
Tech Talk.
Tech Talk, the vMix
is approved. You say,
super legit.
So, what do you think the next tech back end move? I know obviously we're getting ready to make some major moves in front of the camera here, but like behind the camera, NDI is the big change.
Yeah, that's going to be the big change, and we've been slowly outfitting for that.
And that runs video over Ethernet.
Over Ethernet, yeah, correct.
So that means like because this whole building is wired for Ethernet, like because every morning I walk by, I see this room on the in that control room. Is that because we have NDI running? Because I know we ran regular cable.
That's the optical cable that's running out. But NDI, I could jack into GameSpot Studio right now if we wanted to.
Yeah, they spit out NDI for their control.
Pull it up and see what they're doing there.
Program feed.
Let me see if they are doing
it. You don't have to.
No, don't
spy on them right now.
I'll just look.
But we've been slowly.
You're gonna pull it up, and they're gonna be running some embargo thing, and we're gonna blow up their. Oh, geez,
real voyeuristic streak over here.
Yeah, it's just Google.
We've been making changes to how we're gonna ingest cameras and stuff, and that'll be NDI at some points, and gameplay is not quite there. Like I need that to be super crisp. I don't need any compression on that.
So is NDI? It's not just a point to point. Like this device is connected to this, and the video just goes back and forth.
Kind of goes out to a cloud, like a network cloud.
You can matrix it out to wherever. That's crazy.
Yeah, and have just like almost unlimited inputs. That you can choose from. So it's super powerful. But it's black magic to me.
Like, not black magic,
not actual black magic, but it's some voodoo shit. coming from a really old school, everything's analog. It's this new digital age, man. Ugh.
Sometimes the future's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
A couple more emails, except I lost the one I had. Gosh, Brynjar, I hope I'm saying that, from Reykjavik in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
With summer being over and winter knocking soon on the door, what kinds of food do you eat during the winter that you don't eat during the summer?
I don't know that I change.
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot.
In theory, I'm like, yeah, some nice hot soup. But I've definitely had some hot
like
soups in the summer. Yeah, it's not.
I don't so much.
Yeah, I can't think of much.
I have corn on the cob in the summer, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'd say there's more.
Right.
There's more summer foods.
Yeah,
that you only eat in the summer.
You grill out more.
There's not a lot of winter food.
I'm trying to think of
like fresh
stuff.
fruit availability changes.
Sure.
In some cases,
Yeah.
so
And then
maybe there's something like that. But I don't know that
the seasonal spices. Your pumpkin spice.
Yeah, pumpkin spice is back.
That's
It's everywhere
back.
again. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Nutmeg, like eggnog.
I mean, there's
How about that?
there's Halloween
Eggnog.
shit available all over the place.
And there has been
Hell
for like
yeah.
a month.
I know, I love
Halloween
it.
candy,
I
like
love
for
it.
a month. I'm just like, I should buy all this candy. No,
I've already been to like 2 Halloween spirit stores. Oh, it's great.
My local Costco has Halloween stuff and Christmas stuff up already displayed.
Why
It's
not?
Great. And we went to Costco on Saturday, and there were like no free samples anywhere to be seen. I could not believe
down.
it.
Oh
They
man.
got rid of
they-
the Polish.
they
They got rid
really-
of the
They know.
free samples.
There was
You're
one
there.
stand in the back of the store with like 20 people waiting for it. And I was like, nope, let's just buy our stuff and go.
I thought, they're changing because they do the hot food sales
Yes.
up in the front. I heard that they were going to discontinue some stuff.
They already
there.
did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They now have an acai bowl and a vegan al pastor salad.
Are you,
But-
you talking about the actual concessions
Yeah.
area?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, what was the thing? They got rid of something.
They got rid of the
people
Polish
were-
dog.
That was
Yeah.
it. That people got super mad about.
And I think they're trying to introduce a cheeseburger, which I'm interested in.
I would love to meet that cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I'll fuck up an acai bowl from time to time. I ain't
Yeah,
above
man.
it. Yeah.
What else goes in there?
granola.
Granola.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yogurt,
Maybe some honey or something. Yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some honey.
Greek yogurt.
Some
Various fruits.
coconut shavings. Or
Sure.
something.
All right. Maybe last email. Do you guys care about green Jello,
Oh, the
I care about
band?
green jelly.
the band?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
I just watched that Little Pig video like a month ago.
Oh, that's who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
couldn't
they're that
remember.
band.
And they
couldn't-
did.
Couldn't remember why they sounded familiar. Somebody wrote in about them.
And they were in that Spider-Man game.
That's what this email is about.
Gotcha.
This email is signed Rolla. I was recently at a Green Jello show because it just kind of happened where I was drinking, and I just wanted to let you know that they are 1, still alive,
Wow.
and 2, playing the theme song to Spider-Man Maximum Carnage as their encore,
Good shit.
because of course they are.
That's their encore.
It was in
Thanks
a-
for staying. Now you get the song you came to see.
It was a room with about as many people in the audience as people on stage.
Wow.
So there you
I
go.
don't know how many people are in that band. That's interesting.
Yeah, I had to look that
I
up.
had
I mean,
no
that was like pre-digital audio for the most part in games. So like, I guess the actual cartridge just has like a shitty
Yeah, some
like Genesis synthesized
kilohertz.
version
Yes.
of the song they did.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was not a recording. It was literally just like a.
And they had their logo like pop up in the intro.
weird.
That was a big deal for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure at the time there were probably press releases about like, we got a real soundtrack, just like a movie. It's just like a movie. You like Spider-Man? This is like a movie. We got green Jello. Sorry, green jelly.
Apparently, it's still pronounced Green Jello, even though they changed.
Even
the
though they
spelling.
changed it, sure.
I looked it up. They changed it for copyright reasons,
Oh, gotcha.
but apparently you still say it the same way.
Really?
That's how you stick it to the
I
name.
never knew.
Really getting one over on the Jello Corporation.
Bless their hearts.
All right. Last email from Jacob in Chicago. I'm on the way back to my house from a Fall Out Boy concert at Wrigley Field.
Man, people making strong choices
Yeah,
lately.
I know. The concert was good, but a big standout to me was that their stage screen showed someone streaming Fortnite for a solid 4 minutes during the song Grand Theft Autumn. The streamer was... I know, there's a lot to unpack in that sentence if you're not a fan of Fall Out Boy, but I'll continue. The streamer was someone dressed as a llama character from the Fall Out Boy expanded lore.
What?
But the gameplay seemed to be straight undoctored footage of someone playing a game starting at the main menu. The second the footage started, About 10 or 15 middle or high schoolers in our section started furiously flossing. I've attached a blurry nosebleed seats picture as proof, and I'm wondering, where is the strangest place you've seen video games pop up? P.S. We went to smoke in a secluded spot by the concessions where a drunk father kept alternating between Ric Flair wooing and war whooping and pointing at his grade school-aged daughter, who was flossing for the amusement of her siblings. He would occasionally shout to the workers and ask if, quote, this performance deserves a free beer.
Oh, my God.
PPS, fuck Cubs fans.
Wow.
I'm going to the wrong concert.
Guy paints a real picture, a real word picture.
Oh, right. The concert, was it Wrigley?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I feel like I'm there. But,
Man.
That's a lot to take in. I actually don't know where to go from there.
I bet it was not deserving of a free beer. I bet he did not get a free beer.
I bet he didn't.
Not a chance.
That's a mess. Everything about that's a mess. Fallout Boy, grade schoolers wanting to see Fallout Boy in concert.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
And then just like completely ripping off that streamer's content.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Restreaming.
No way to like link back to them or anything.
Yeah.
Jesus
Maybe they did a
Christ.
/ afterwards and all the people from the concert ended up in the chat.
Very possible.
Demanding free beers.
Right.
I think the fact that they have a song called Grand Theft Autumn was the most shocking revelation in this whole email.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto was a thing before the video game. So
Sure.
Grand Theft Autumn is a hilarious name for a song, but totally valid.
Sure.
Unless it is about the video game.
Yeah.
In a fall-like setting. That's probably pretty lame, but I don't know, whatever.
My head is spinning so fast after this email that I can't even think of an answer.
I went to a Fall Out Boy concert last year.
Oh, yeah?
And guess who opened for them? Jaden Smith.
Wow.
Of course he did.
And
That's a bill.
That's
What do you like? Why? Okay,
It's just like those two groups don't sound anything alike.
but like I could see.
What does Jaden Smith
Don't
act
take this
like?
the wrong way.
No,
but they're both bad. So
I didn't buy tickets to the
okay,
show.
all right. I could see some shared kinship of just like, well, I like bullshit, so I'm here to see it. Actually, there was that one Jaden Smith song, Icon.
Yes, that isn't that bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It pains me to say that.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. But there were a lot of people that were psyched for both. People wearing like Jaden Smith shirts at a Fall Out Boy concert. There was a good chunk of people that left after Jaden Smith opened.
Like Jaden Smith got like that. I think that album that I got like that.
Yeah.
I heard it was okay for
He did
what
a
it was.
spoken word piece. It was very moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
I don't quite remember what it was about.
Yeah,
but it was.
I could see that being hard to hold on to. It's too slippery. It's too good.
I'm sure your life was changed.
Yeah.
I like a good video game crossover band sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Such as
Proto Man.
Proto Man.
I've seen them many times.
The mini bosses?
Yeah, they're good
Yeah.
as well. I actually hired the Proto Men to play at
Oh, wow.
at an event
Okay.
down in Atlanta. I like them a lot.
I'm going to say I still think some of that product placement that was popping up on various like cable series for a while there was super fucking weird.
Oh, when it was just like, here's
Like,
Rage.
Like there was that Rage, I think, but wasn't it the Rage mobile game?
Yeah.
On Breaking Bad? And like
Right.
every season House of Cards was
Yeah.
having Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey play some PlayStation
It
game.
was
Right.
Monument Valley or something.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That was a good weird one.
That stuff was strange. That's what I've got. But really, I just wanted to.
I always liked it when you would see just in Grosse Point Blank, they go into the convenience store
yeah.
and there's a
that's
Doom
right.
arcade machine
Yeah,
right.
that was
in there.
ridiculous.
And that's real dumb for a lot of reasons. Like,
Much-
imagine the work that would have had. Like, imagine how much easier it would have been to get any actual arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, no, like it's like someone totally removed from me. Like, no, Doom is big. We need it needs to
Doom.
be. You're like, that's not an arcade game. But like, what the fuck are you?
Somebody
But
get,
everybody knows Doom.
somebody get GT Interactive on the phone.
Yeah, get those Quake arcade cabinets that they
Mostly, I just wanted to read this
with
email
the trackball.
about this absurd scenario at a Fall Out Boy show. And that's it for emails.
No, that sounds like yes, standard experience at a Fall Out Boy concert, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
probably not out of the ordinary at all.
Also, I could see like maybe that being like a common like, hey, this is just Chicago, man.
Yeah,
It's just how it goes.
a lot of weird shit goes down in Chicago.
it's true.
That's my understanding.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Ben's out on vacation this week, so
yeah, we're gonna push pause on the after show until he's back.
Yeah.
Because we got some other stuff that we got to shoot today anyway.
A lot of stuff to record.
Yeah. Games
coming out. Video games.
Check them out.
To be precise.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering. All right. Well, in that case, thanks for listening. We're going to get out of here and play some of those, record some videos of them, and post them on the website. So we will see you back here same time next week. Bye.